Oh wait, I gotta do the stream gang ping. I always forget about that.
Yeah. Me too. Hello, everyone. We are live. I should do this with more enthusiasm and excitement.
Try it. Go again.
Hello, everyone. We are live.
Hello, everyone. Andrew handled the enthusiasm, so I don't need to do it.
That's not fair.
Okay, everyone on Discord should have been pinged, so now I close Discord
For good.
forever. Yeah,
It's over.
in an ideal universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So today we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about the best value in audiophile headphones, or just best value in audio because there's going to be a bunch of crossover there. But we also have a couple of other things, a couple of other announcements to do with this live show, the Noise
Yeah.
Floor.
We should probably start with the announcement right out of the gate. Actually,
Let's start with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is moving this live stream. So for next week's episode or the future episodes of
Going
this,
forward.
yeah, going forward, will be on a different channel. It's going to be on its own separate dedicated channel. Did you link that in the description?
Yeah, should be the
Okay.
first link right in the description.
Yeah.
So we have a new channel. It's
Yep.
called the Noise Floor. It is just for this content. So this is going to be the last one that's actually hosted on the Headphone Show YouTube channel. Going forward, please subscribe to the Noise Floor channel so you know when we're doing this. And because this is kind of like a weekly stream format, if you're not the kind of person that usually rings the notification bell, this is the kind of thing I found people want to be notified when we're doing it. So definitely hit the notification bell on that channel so you know when these streams are happening because they will no longer be happening here.
Yeah. I think for folks who might be wondering why we're doing this, the simple answer is when we put together these live streams, people still don't seem to realize that they are live, and it is getting sent to people who don't necessarily want to engage with live content. So we decided, well, the easiest solution here is to just move it to a separate channel, so folks who are interested in that can subscribe to that or follow that or whatever. And those who are not don't have to and don't have that kind of thing served to them from us. And this is a very common thing that other platforms do as well. We figured we're kind of just shooting ourselves in the foot not doing that. So we've begun to do that. We're doing this one here still because it's the announcement of that. But yeah, moving forward, that's where it'll be. The other thing I was just going to say is, as usual, these streams and the future ones on that new channel are all brought to you by headphones.com. And so if you find any value in these streams, consider headphones.com the next time you're in the market for audio gear. There's headphones, DAX amps, speakers, all kinds of good stuff. There's even merch featuring us. Apparently, there's a mug you can buy. So if you want to support us that way, definitely do so. It really helps out all of the stuff that we are doing. And with that, I think we can dive into today's stream and today's topics. The headline, of course, is value.
Yeah. So the way I'd phrased the question initially was actually to get a different conversation going, which was how can audiophiles ensure they get the best value for their money? And this is a topic I think we all have thinky thoughts on, but I think the kind of condensed version of this question that would fit into a YouTube title, I think ended up giving people a little bit of a different idea, and made them think we're just going to talk about the best value headphones, probably at
tier
certain
list.
prices. Yeah. Everybody wants a tier list, so when they see a title, they think, it's going to be a tier list.
They want an EQ tier list.
So people do ask for that all the time, and we probably should actually do one. Honestly, like completely separate from what we're talking about now, we should do a video about that, you and I. So we'll do that.
The headphones that have the best technicalities that can be EQ'd. That's what people want.
Well, it'll be an opportunity for us to yet again rail against that narrative. But for now, I think what we'll do is just kind of go through some price tiers, tell people what they want to hear, in terms of
Yeah.
giving our takes for the best value at certain
I mean,
prices.
like what we just said is what people want to hear, but
Yeah.
I just have to point out, like, it does. There is no reason. There's no like exterior sorry. There's no ulterior motive for us to be telling people, "Hey, technicalities is not a thing," right? Like it's
If
literally
anything,
just.
our motive should be the
That's
opposite.
what I'm saying. It should be.
Yeah.
It should be to tell people that there is there, but we none that we can find.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Also, I just have to note for your benefit, I have used my philosopher mug
Yeah,
cup
so we're
thing.
gonna
So
keep all of the philosophy contained to that mug, and it won't leak out anywhere. It's like I'm very
this
grateful that you brought a
this mug
container for all of the
contains.
philosophy.
It's just it's filled to the brim with philosophy, and
Yeah,
I
the
I
philosophy
drink.
containment
Yeah,
unit.
I drink from the philosophy cup.
Yeah, because that's how you
My
that's your
yeah,
fuel. That's your lifeblood.
my philosophy cup runneth over.
Yeah.
All right. Uh,
Okay.
so let's
So
go.
we're
Let's
gonna
go. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna talk about best value headphones or audio products
Okay.
under $100.
So
We're gonna
so
start
number
there,
one, like number one under all of this, over all of this is of course EQ, right?
which we'll talk about.
Right.
Which
We're
we'll talk
getting into
about.
products now. Okay.
We're talking about
So
products right now.
yeah. So in my mind, it has to be IEMs, right? Because like the value you can get with IEMs at sub $50 these days is kind of insane, right?
It's stupid.
Yeah. But for real headphones,
Well, no, I mean, are there any IEMs that come to mind for you that because people are going to want like a discrete answer. I have one that's coming to mind
well,
recently.
we'll see how good that the Space Travel 2 is.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I think it's like $30.
Well, if
This
you
is
have
stupid.
EQ in that, that's
Even without the EQ though, like even just the stock tonality,
yeah.
like it kind of reminds me of the Soft Ears Volume S. Like it's not crazy bassy, but the bass shelf is enough, and it's like a slope instead of the like distinct shelf.
We will see. We will see if
Got a
it has
little
detail.
little bit of flair in the upper mids, but just enough to offset the bass kind of being bloomy. And then the treble's like on the dark side, so it's it's more focused on kind of the lower frequency aspects of the spectrum rather than the
Yeah.
upper frequency aspects. So
And for folks who are unaware, that is like what, $30?
that's $30. I mean, above that,
40, 30? Yeah, 30.
yeah, it's 30. And then above that, I think it's like, yeah, Hexa Pure Zero Red if you want something that's more like distinct and bassy.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say Zero Red is like the next, you know.
One.
Yeah. And for Harman Gang, there's Zero Blue, but
No, I think there are better options for Harman Gang,
under
honestly.
50?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Truthier Date is like 20.
Right. Okay. Right.
And I honestly, as a not Harman enjoyer, I quite like that I am. I was listening to it again a few days ago because I was comparing it to this, and I do prefer this, but the even without EQ, but the gate is solid. I do quite like that I am, and I do actually prefer it to the red as well. So
Interesting. I bet I will not.
I don't know. Yeah, IEMs are just tough for you, man.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know what to say other than I'm
Like,
sorry.
most of them sound bad. That's the problem. Most
So
of them. Some of them sound good, but most of them sound bad.
yeah.
But okay, so above that, at around $100, I go Q Deluxe 5K because that is like, I mean, come on, right? That's still.
I think so. The thing is, there are like now less expensive alternatives to that.
Yeah.
So the FIO JA11 is like I think it's a
Hold on.
$30 dongle that does parametric EQ.
Okay. Wait. Sorry. What is it called?
FIO JA11. So it had
Is it
or has
better?
some software issues, which is why I think you probably haven't heard of it. It hasn't really been widely recommended.
Okay.
Moondrop also just released. No one's gotten it yet, but the free DSP dongle.
Hobby Talk says J11 is trash. It bricked on him.
Yeah, I don't use mine because I was having issues with it too, but apparently they've done considerable firmware updates
All right.
since
So don't
then.
get
But I
that
don't.
one until that gets fixed.
Yeah.
But okay. But my point is stuff like that has parametric EQ,
Yeah.
and also like as provided the outputs are sufficiently, but they should be for most things, right? Sufficiently good for most headphones. Oh,
Okay, never mind. FIO J11 is completely broken and does not work at all anymore.
okay. What was the Moondrop one?
Free DSP
Not
dongle, I
not
think.
not not the
Not the
cable.
cable, not the
Okay.
cable. Yeah. Um,
Okay. Wow.
and, I
So
think,
that's just a
and there's
broken
a new
product.
one from FIO too that's like kind of more like the Q-Delix form factor, where it's like a separate brick, but that has 10 band EQ. I have no idea
Companies
how it's
still
going to
trying to
be.
catch up to Qdelix.
Yeah,
It's been years
Q-Delix
now.
is technically over $100 though.
Ah, whatever. Um,
But any other headphones or IEMs? Like for
so I was gonna
I
ask
do like this
how.
more than I think you do, but
Oh,
for
definitely
like
like that more than I do.
$50 for the wired version,
I think it's bad.
I
I
think
gave
it's a
mine to
nice
my
thing
dad.
to
Oh no, I
have
didn't have the
for
wireless
a
one.
round pair.
Yeah. Maybe the wireless one is better. They
It's the
could
same.
they could inject it with DSP. Inject some goodness into it. Fix some of the problems. No, the
Very simple
I,
device.
I was gonna ask like how much is like a does it cost money to get to do better help therapy? Like I feel like that would be better value.
Oh man, it's I mean, to be clear, BetterHelp may not be
I
great
haven't
for all
looked into
people.
this. I haven't looked into this. So
Yeah, just gonna say that. So we're not officially
clearly,
endorsing BetterHelp as an
I'm,
option for
I'm clearly I haven't looked into this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this.
yeah.
Save
Yeah,
yourself.
why would you be here if you were in therapy?
Yeah, save yourself a lifetime of you know
Yeah.
uh,
Um,
of a empty wallet and terrible
yeah,
digestive problems,
I don't know. I
alcoholism, and
tried
depression.
BetterHelp for a little bit, and I feel like it was more expensive than that. I feel
Hmm.
like per session it was more expensive than that.
Okay, so not the
I don't
greatest value,
exactly
but
remember.
still probably better value than becoming an audiophile.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Oh, you're supposed to bully me about the KSC 75. So okay, so let's talk about the Porta Pros and those for over ear headphones. Those are probably even I who like hate them with a passion because they're on ear and they're terrible.
you're
Would
wrong.
recommend the Porta Pros and that style around what is it like $50 or something like that?
Yeah, KSC is a
Yeah.
little bit. I think it's like half that. I think it's like
Yeah.
25 or $30, and then Porta Pro is
Yeah.
like 40.
And also the wireless one. Like I am actually considering buying my dad one of the wireless ones because like regardless of the sound, he is somebody who can't wear IEMs at all because he does.
Mhm.
I don't like the piece of gravel sticking out of my ear, and he doesn't like the wire for things. So I'm like, well, yeah, I have a solution for you. Well, it's a portable headphone that's wireless that isn't an
Yeah,
IEM. It's like, okay,
and
well,
it's one he might honestly like from the look be familiar with. Like I don't know. I showed my dad Koss headphones, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Koss."
yeah.
So
So yeah,
mm,
it is a useful thing, even for a hater like me.
yeah, and then there's also like JBL has a few like inexpensive over ear. I mean, they say over ear, but they're very small. Um, in the Tune series, like the 770.
I don't
Mm.
think those are very good. I got to be honest.
I think they're okay. I think they're like their
Eh,
problem is that they're a very leak intolerant device
yes,
with not great design, so they kind of just leak on my head a lot. So like the
well,
Tune 710 is
also
the
the
only one I've
trebles,
tried hands on, and it did not have bass on my head. So I
the
would,
trebles also pretty bad.
yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
It's oh Max 5C. That's a good.
Oh, that's
Oh
a
yeah,
good one.
yeah.
So like, again, so not the Max 5C because the Max 5C, which I have right here, has a problem where when you wear it on the head, well, at least when I wear it on the head, I get like I don't know if you can see it. There's like a gap right here. My
Oh, so it
finger's
doesn't have
just
the
sliding
proper.
right under there.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
means it might fit me.
it might. Yeah, but they actually have another version of a very similar sounding headphone called the Max 5, which has a different like yoke
Mm,
system where
okay.
it can articulate on more axis than just one. So it does couple better under there, and it sounds, I think, almost identical. So, um,
Yeah.
and it's like only a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $40 or $50 or something like that. So another good option. I would say it's still definitely colored, but the jazz preset is kind of like a Focal open back in its tuning.
Wow.
Yeah. So it has like that 1K hump and like a little bit of
Right.
mid bass emphasis.
Got it.
But it's solid. I'm trying to think if there's anything else under $100 besides the cost and the Max 5C.
Well, you don't like this, but people are gonna say HE400 SE.
No, I would recommend HE400 SE. I think that's
$80, I think,
the most base extension you can get in a coupling insensitive headphone under $100.
even though it rolls off in the bass.
Yeah, but even so, I think it's like more
Better.
than
Yeah.
like the cheaper 5 Series designs,
Yeah.
and it's more leak intolerant, or sorry,
And
leak
then
tolerant.
yeah, so what you do is you buy the HE400 SE, and then a year from now, when you've saved up $100 again, you buy Kudelix 5K.
Yeah.
Wow, that was shots to the poors.
Oh, actually, Justino brings up one that I think is underappreciated. The Shure SRH 440A. If you need a
One
closed back passive like headphone,
didn't DMS review that and said it was like hilarious amounts of bass?
it's pretty bassy.
Okay.
It's within bounds, but it's pretty bassy. 840A is the one that's like too bassy and too bright.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
440A is like at the top ends of the bounds for like bass and treble, but like the mid range is still there and solid. I would say it's kind of like a Dunu Da Vinci or something like that in terms of its balance. So it's like a little bassy, but it's like reasonable.
Oh, HE400 SE, you need a decently powered amp.
That's true.
What if you have a motherboard that has, like, a lot of motherboards actually have headphone amps on them these days, and some laptops do as well. I guess the problem is, does the MacBook have for its output? Does it have
I think the problem here is none of them are going to have enough current for it. It's a very
well,
current
right, but also the MacBooks use their power is based on impedance sensing, is it not?
right, but they change the voltage, which isn't
not the same. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, then that's too bad. So you already need to have an amp, so it's not actually as good value as people think.
Yeah. Now, someone said the R30X. I haven't heard it yet. Have you?
It's awful.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just an absolute. I mean, I know Caleb liked it, but it was a treble murder cannon, and it doesn't couple properly. Maybe that's why it's a treble murder cannon.
Got it.
I listened to it at Can Jam, and I was like, "This is like the worst thing. I hate everything about this."
Oh, Hobby Talk says the 440A is uncomfortable.
Okay.
It's not perfectly comfortable, but I compared it to a bunch of the other like common studio headphones, and the only thing I kind of didn't like was that the headband wasn't as padded as it could have been.
Yeah.
But I found the ear comfort fine, which is not typical of those kind of headphones for me. So
MDR 7506 is what Oris says.
So Oris is just a baselet, and
maybe they would like the.
I just think that's a
R30X.
poorly designed headphone. Like I think they leak so easily. Like the pads have so many wrinkles in them, and the ear chamber is so shallow that it just doesn't seal even on a test fixture.
Yep.
Let alone on an actual human.
Yep.
So,
but you could get some. Are there aftermarket pads for it that make it decent?
You can, but I'm pretty sure when you buy it new, it's $100. I could be wrong.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would be like, unless there's something that goes on sale regularly below 100. Even
Not that I
then,
can think of.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I were picking one device under $100, it would either be the Space Travel 2 or the Pure. But that's me, who like wants a darker kind of chill listen.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of ways to skin a cat under $100.
For me, it would probably be Hexa or Pure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, you want to move on?
Yeah.
Let's go to under $500 now.
All right, 6XX.
I mean, I think that's the easy kind of obvious.
But I also think HD 550 represents exceptional value. We've said this like lots of times, that if that headphone had been priced at like $500 and had like more premiumness to the build or something like that, it would have been the best thing under five, whatever that price point is, right? So
yeah, I mean, I think I still prefer the 650 to it, but I've met so many people who are the exact kind of people who like say they hate the 650, who hear the 550 and they're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this is so much better. Like this
Exactly.
fixes my main
Yeah.
issue with it, which
Exactly. Yeah.
is usually down to the treble being a mud fest on the
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
series.
And
So,
I'm gonna put the 600 in there as well because it's like
oh,
650,
absolutely.
6XX, 600, 550. Those are all. I'm gonna make people mad by saying this. Those are all meaningfully better than the 660 S2. But people like the 660 S2. It's a popular,
Yeah, I'm just not sure it's a value pick.
No, not even close.
Yeah. FIO FT1 Pro would be up there for me for
Yep.
value.
Yep. I think that's a reasonable. And FT1 like the. Oh no, wait. Yeah, it is. It's 150.
Yeah,
Yeah.
150 or
Yeah.
maybe a bit more now because of tariffs, but
Right. Yeah. So I have kind of a dark horse pick here, and it's not. I'm waffling between whether this is actually value or not, because technically the Moondrop Para is Para. See, here's the problem: the Moondrop Para was originally like what, like 300 or something.
399.
Yeah, and the Para 2 is now
Oh,
500.
no. Maybe it was 299 actually.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's probably because of tariffs.
To an extent, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like the Para 2 is that much better than the Para, right? It's just different pads.
Yeah, it's just it's
Yeah.
largely just different pads. Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as what we can confirm.
Yeah. I mean, like there's some subtle change to seemingly, but mostly pads that are different. But that platform, the driver there is one of the best drivers, one of the best planar magnetic drivers, period. It's insane. And what you can do with it, with different pads and things like that, is remarkable. Like I wasn't joking. This is one of the more, I don't know, like technical sounding, and I hate that word, but so one of the more capable planar magnetic headphones.
Well, I think the reason you fixate so much on it being the driver is because of the mix between size and damping and tension. That kind of means
And when you say size
the
for the low resonance frequency benefits as well.
yes,
Yeah.
but as well as the fact that it's not like a hi-fi man where it's got all of that modal stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
In mid-range and treble.
Exactly. We'll
So it's
see
just
about the new
relatively
edition
simpler, more
XV. That looks
versatile.
very interesting.
Sorry, what?
We'll see about the new edition XV, which seems very interesting.
Seems very interesting.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about in the news and impressions later.
But no, but the Para 2, like when I put other pads on it, I could get the response to be like pretty darn exceptional, like the kind of thing that would compete with multi-$1,000 headphones. And that's not to say that that's always better, but like the things that are lauded, let's say, in that range, you can do that with the Para 2 and a Cosmo, right? So,
but the Para 2 is like half the price.
That's right, and that's why I think it actually does represent good value. And by the way, that driver, they, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was reading through their material, it's that the entire surface area of the membrane is the conductive material. Like they just made it conductive, so that's how it achieves the entire. That makes use of the entire surface area of that circle, not just the rectangle within it, where the way that it usually is done. As the moving mass. So that's one of the reasons why they get such a low resonance frequency.
Sure. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I guess what I'm curious about is like how that affects the uniformity of motion. And I mean, obviously the part where the movement is coming from is obviously still the magnets, like the bar magnets. So like, yeah, I wonder.
And they have to be far enough away from the diaphragm. So
it's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll have to look into that. But yeah, so I think I would agree to an extent. I think in terms of like a platform, there are desirable things about it that you wouldn't really be able to get for cheaper. I mean, unless the Para 1 is still being sold. And the build on all of those is, fairly identical. So I don't know if the 2 is really worth it over the 1 if you can just get different pads.
Yeah. That I would need to dig into that more.
Yeah, that build is kind of unfortunate too. Like I don't love that as a recommendation to people.
If you have a big head, it's probably fine.
If you have a big head, it's probably fine. If you have Herbert Jang's massive very low-eared head.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he puts that
Goomy
picture.
Supremacy, the link to the new channel should be the first thing in the description below. Guys, if the link isn't there, please let me know. I will make sure it is there,
All right.
but it should be there.
I'm just reading from the Para 2's marketing material. It says, in contrast to traditional planar magnetic headphones, Para series adopts an ultra large 100 millimeter diameter diaphragm, blah, 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 incorporating blah, blah, blah technology. So the entire vibrating surface of the diaphragm is evenly covered with effective driving circuits and enclosed in magnetic field. And then they have pictures of how it looks in a traditional one with a trace, right? Where the trace covers basically a rectangle. Versus their what they call full drive technology, where the entire circle of the diaphragm is it's a circuit area,
Interesting.
is what they
Yeah.
call it. Yeah, so kind of unique.
So we've gotten a lot more viewers since the beginning of the video, so I'm just gonna say this again. For those who weren't here in the beginning, this is going to be the last Noise Floor podcast hosted on this channel. We've started a new channel, which is going to be linked in the description right below us. Should be the first thing in the description. Yeah, so if you want to see more of these, definitely subscribe to that new channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when these are happening. But yeah, this is going to be the last one on this channel.
Thanks for the 5. Is that what is the HK currency? Well, let's find this out. Quitoba. I'm curious.
It's obviously Quit Uwu.
Hong Kong dollar. Thank you, Quitoba.
Thanks. But yeah, another thing I do want to kind of. So my kind of issue with the like Para 2 and Cosmo kind of platform as like a pad rolling platform is you can do like quite a bit to it, but you can never really do anything for the bass. Like the bass level is basically always
That's not true.
where it is. What do you mean?
If you put the FT1 Pro pads on it,
okay, no one can buy those.
Okay, if you put the Moondrop Horizon pads on it, it does.
Oh, like really leaky pads?
Yeah, if you put
No, I
some
guess
sort
you're
of
right. Yeah, no, I
yeah.
guess you could.
And
Wait,
the other thing
did
is
you put
because
Horizon pads on it?
yeah, I tried it.
Is that the last measurement you
Yeah,
sent me?
it's still not as good as like the
Yaxi
FT1 Pro.
pads?
Well, it's just different from the Axie pads.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know which I like better. Really, I didn't like either of them as much as the FT1 Pro pads. But also because the clamp is so loose on them, it's like if it's bound to be a bit more leaky, and so it's like in that, like, yes, it's dumb that it's that loose, but also that is going to yield more bass for more people, or if you wear glasses or something like that. So
yeah, I guess I don't know. Like I feel like if I'm considering the FT1 Pro as like the value option for planars in this price range, which I think I would say it is. I feel like the difference between it and Para 2 isn't huge. I guess it's that you can EQ the base of the Para a little bit more if you want to, because the FT1 Pro has that excursion limit thing. But yeah, I think in terms of stock experience, I'd probably. I mean, I haven't heard.
They're also like $300 different in price.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's about value, right?
Well, that's that. Yeah. So you can define value in many ways, right? One is like, okay, I can get this $200 headphone that is better than many other headphones that are under $500, or I can get this $500 headphone that, with just this one subtle tweak, can be better than many $1,000 headphones. You know that like, I'm not talking EQ here. I'm talking like, pad swaps and stuff like that. And so it really depends on kind of the calculus that you have there. And of course, the other question is like, would you want that anyways? Because maybe, right? Like maybe the answer is actually just an HD6XX and quit, or whatever, HD550 and quit. People are also going to talk about is the Aria Stealth under 500 now, or no? It's still over.
I think it was like 550. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't take that over the.
I know you wouldn't, because you hate
FT1 Pro or the Para 2. So.
I would. Not necessarily the Para 2. That's what I'm talking about. With the Para 2, I can put the FT1 Pro.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you for a fact I would take the Para 2 over it, even though I've never heard the Para 2. Like the Aria Stealth is just one of the worst headphones I've ever heard.
Yeah, so, you hate it. So
yeah.
All right. So is we go to the next category here?
Well, are there any others? Because we've only really talked about Sennheiser, Hi-Fi Man, and Moondrop.
Well, would you
Uh,
put you could say the Crinier Daybreak for IEMs in it's 170 or
I don't know.
something,
I
right?
think I would take most of the headphones we've mentioned over Daybreak.
I would too.
Um, oh, the Alex actually, I would take over.
That's 600, isn't it? Is it not?
No, it's 500.
Is it?
Yep, at
Oh,
least last
okay.
I checked.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I would take that over any of the Hi-Fi Mans, any of the Moondrops.
Hmm.
I would take it over 600. I would take it over 550. Yeah, I would probably in this kind of list, I would put it
Sure.
right below the 650.
Okay.
Just for me, I like the boom
Yep.
boom blam,
Mr. Dynamics over here. Yeah.
Senorita Dynamics.
What the
Um,
All right.
yeah, I mean, look, yes, you know, the LX does usually have
Oh,
sales.
Maxwell. Odyssey Maxwell.
Oh,
Well done.
that is a good one. I don't know if I would take it over the Daybreak actually.
What a weird comparison.
Well, just because I mean, I assume if I'm going for a close back, I'm going for it because I need
Oh, I see.
isolation.
Well, but also wireless and headset and a million different functions.
I
And
I actually don't know if I would take it over this if we're including all of
wow.
like the EQ. This is easier to EQ. Like this is
Okay.
this is very simple for
Does
me. I feel
Odyssey
like
not yet have parametric EQ for their app? Because that's
nope,
so. Oh man, they need to
yeah,
do that.
missed opportunity.
That's where other companies are eating their lunch. I was arguing with Douglas over the Scapy. He doesn't like it. I don't think, but which is fair, right? Like the treble is much. It's much treble. But the parametric EQ is in the web app. It's like it's so good that you can just do that. And
Yeah,
other companies, like even the legacy brands, need to catch up in that regard. I'd say the same for Focal. Say the same for like even big name brands like Bose. Like get your parametric EQ going because the gaming audio world is going to eat your lunch. Probably not because they're
for
meant for
real.
very different audiences, but you know what I mean. From a functionality perspective, they are winning.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of feels wild that like in general, I think so. Like what happened, I think, is that the Maxwell came out. It had some version of maybe semi-comprehensive EQ because it was like 10 bands.
Yeah,
And a shit ton of people bought that headphone. So then gaming manufacturers were like, "Oh, okay, people want EQ." So they actually started doing it, and now you have like Steel Series and Astro and Turtle Beach, like all with like
yeah,
pretty decent EQ, and obviously fractal
yeah,
designs with
yeah.
the Scape. And I feel like the Maxwell hasn't updated to reflect that. But also, this means that like the gaming audience, I wouldn't say a majority of them at all, but like a good few of them are actually EQing. And I feel like it's to the point where a lot of them are EQing uh maybe more often or like as a larger percentage of the overall audience than audiophiles are.
Well, yeah. Oh, definitely. They
Yeah.
they one of the things that Fractal did that was also great for this is they made EQ sharing a core function of the product. So so
That's what they did with this too.
with a little code that you can send to somebody else, and then you can sick. See, and that's the way to get it to work, right? Because then you can share, hey, this is how I like it to sound.
And get it to
It
be fun.
Yeah.
Like,
It actually like stimulates the community interaction part of it. And that like I don't see that happening as much in the audiophile space, other than for the folks who are probably watching here, where they have been EQ pilled, where they're like, "Hey, send me your EQ settings for this."
yeah,
Right?
where they're manually sending it over
Yeah,
like Discord or Reddit or something.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there are definitely a few more in this category that I would put, but they're kind of like more use case specific or taste specific. Like the MDR MV1 would be like, I would frankly take it
Oh
over any of the
yeah,
phone I've mentioned so far. I would take it
MV1,
over the FT1, the
but
Osmo
MV1 is good.
Terra, and
See, I know you like the sound of it. Send it back, please. But the
no,
FT. Wait, sorry. I thought you were saying MV. Oh, you were saying MV1.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. So for the MV1, I like it for reasons that are not related to sound, which is the build and the comfort, and
Yeah.
I want more headphones like that. But as far as value is concerned, for people who are not EQing things, that's where I kind of disagree. I still think I would take a 6XX over that.
So,
You know,
yes. However, I think for normal people not EQing, I actually think it's a better option in some ways.
oh, because they're
What they're going to do is boost the bass and treble. If you give like a normal person a Sennheiser 650 and give them an option to EQ, what I find a lot of them do is just boost the shit out of the bass and treble.
okay. So you're saying for the unwashed masses, this is a bit more
Yeah,
appropriate because it's more
unironically,
bass and
yes.
treble. Okay.
Yes, and speaking of which,
This
this
is
is the other obvious, under
this is
$500 device.
trained versus untrained all over again. Just
It's not even
here's
trained versus
Griffin
untrained. It's
from the ivory mid-range tower peering down on the pissing on all
yeah,
the peasants below.
it's the mid-range bell curve up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas the Chads at both ends are listening to
Yeah.
MDR MV1 or AirPods Pro 2.
Yes, and yeah, AirPods Pro 2, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, okay, so an important part of this discussion, which I think usually doesn't happen, but I think should happen, is are there devices under $100 that we would take over these devices?
Kudelix 5K. Oh, it's not under $100.
No, that's true. So that's technically in this price tier.
Okay. And again, we're talking for the not just necessarily like best overall product. It's like we're talking value products.
Yes. Well, I mean, in this case, it's like we have these demarcated tiers, but in the spirit of kind of blurring that line a little bit, and maybe being more honest about the fact that if you can spend $500, but you only have to spend $100, you should just spend $100.
Yeah. Which is the value move, right?
Right.
So
and it's not something that often happens in these discussions.
Right. So let's look up how much is a BetterHelp.
No, but like, I don't know.
Between $65 and $100 per week. All right. So,
yeah. I mean, look, I think, and this is totally me being biased, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying this universally, but like I would take the Truthier Pure over most of the headphones I've mentioned in the.
What is that case and that cable? I'm sorry. What is happening?
I just got this. I got this from Linsol. It's a nice
God, I hate it.
I hate case, and I got
so much about it. Oh my God. What is the cable? Pink and
it's a Tripowin Aurora, I think. Yeah.
Pink and teal. Taryn is happy about this for some reason. I'm sure he would be thumbs up about this. It would need more tie-dye, vibes going, but
it's my trans rights pure.
Okay.
But yeah, so I would take that over a lot of the headphones that have been mentioned up to this point. And I think, I don't know if you would agree about any of the other products under $100 being better than any of the other $500 products.
No, I mean, like again, for me, it's in the low. Like the argument is in the lower section of the under 500, right? So the 6XXs of the world, where it's right. Those are. I can see the argument for those over the high priced $500 ones, like the what did I just say? The Parrot 2 and the Alex and stuff like that. But under $100, no, I don't think I would. Like, unless we're talking like for the use benefits of like an IEM, but that's not strictly sound quality. So,
yeah, I hear you. Oh,
yeah. Or like
someone said Apple dongle at $9. Yeah, there's value. That's right.
Yeah. Somebody needs to do that Apple dongle versus like some sort of
Zale HM1.
Yeah. So some high end,
Yeah. Someone said 6XX plus F21 Pro Endgame. I think there's an argument for that, but I actually think they might be too similar if you want like two headphones to really do everything. I actually think the 6XX and F21 Pro have some similarities in the treble that other planars wouldn't have with the 6XX. So if you want diversity and kind of a larger spread there, something else might be a better pick for the planar.
It really just depends on what the person is indexing for, I think, because if it's if somebody's really like offended by treble, which I don't know, like, so I am somebody who is very picky about my treble above like 3 kilohertz, above 2 kilohertz, just all of it. Um, for me, the 6XX would be better. But if somebody is like, oh, but I care more about bass extension, and the 6XX lacks that, it's like a very obvious answer.
Yeah. Yeah. And Stefan pointed out that they would be using the planar, I think, to EQ. But there's the argument that FT1 Pro isn't the best for that.
It's not the best for that because of its
Yeah.
excursion limit. So,
yeah, honestly, that's kind of why I'm hoping that the Edition XV is different enough to represent a compelling alternative.
yeah.
While still being reasonable.
I mean, you could also mention the Edition XS in the sub $500 range, for the same reasons that you could mention the 400 SE, right? The fully extended, it's only like $270, I think. The fully extended,
it's cheap, and
yeah,
then $20 more for a capper strap, and
yeah, so exactly, and like if that headphone is also kind of ubiquitous, so it's actually pretty easy to get. If you are new to EQ, you can get EQ profiles for it that are going to be good. And also, this is one of the areas where the oratory EQ profiles is actually going to be really good, because, or you can count on it being good, because the in situ balance is going to be like, you're not dealing with as many positional variables.
I think the main issue there is that the oratory EQ, like, yes, the headphone.
I'm not talking oratory specifically. I'm saying just EQ profiles that other people have created, like the oratory EQ presets, right? If that's what you want to do, it's going to be better here than something that's high acoustic impedance or leak sensitive or whatever, right?
I think I'm just saying that for auto EQ, like, it would need to be on a DF baseline.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Fine. But I'm just saying, like, your EQ profiles are actually going to be representative rather than, more representative than others, I would say. Given the nature of that design, it's a very consistent performing design.
We don't know.
More consistent than most.
Sure. Definitely. Anything else under 500?
Although I will say unit variation might fuck that up a bit.
Yeah.
That's where, because the modal characteristics of that looser tensioned diaphragm might screw that up. So, forget everything I said. All right.
Okay, anything else? Anything else under 500 before we move on? Okay.
I mean, yeah, no. You get a couple weeks of better help. That's 200 and something.
Under 1,000.
Under 1,000.
This is kind of like a no man's land. I feel like this is where that thing I said earlier, where, like, if there are any lower tier options, you only have to spend $100, even though you have $500. If you only have $500, but you can't, or if you have $1,000, there are a lot of times when you only have to spend 500.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and also the other thing is that some of my favorite products under $1,000 are not value options. So, thank you.
Kunal hit us with the super chat. Is LCD 2C worth it? My salary is $1,600 per month. Kyle. So, context: Kyle is one of the biggest LCD 2C haters in the world. So
wait,
yeah, I don't think it's worth it for
plastic
free.
Or closed?
Oh, that's a good question. Kunal, can you
because the answer to both is
if it's the classic
no.
or the closed? The closed is an absolutely not. The classic, I'm actually going to disagree with Kyle here. I actually think if you want that kind of mid-range presentation and you're okay with darker treble.
The person said the salary is $1,600 per month.
Yeah, but that's $1,600 US and
per month.
I mean, that's, yeah.
Depends on your living costs, right? Like,
so that's.
Oh, okay.
I would say that's not normal. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the LCD 2C has some upsides versus the more expensive ones. It doesn't have the phasers, so it's actually among the most comfortable. It's also the lightest weight, so it has like the biggest uninterrupted ear chamber. And it still has that older design where, like, the really big cups and the, in my opinion, better headband. So you really have to know you want that. I think Audisi's kind of older designs have kind of fallen out of vogue. And I think there is a reasonable justification for that. They are more colored and just kind of harder to blind recommend to people. But I personally like that presentation. So if you know you like that presentation, I would actually recommend it like as a first Odyssey over like the LCD-X and LCD2 and all of that stuff. Because I actually find it more reasonable in the treble too. But
So this is where I'm going to disagree. Unit variation and year like manufacturing run variation notwithstanding, I thought it was fucking horrible.
what didn't you like about it?
I really did not like the way that the treble was handled on it. Like it was just sounded very gritty and etched to me.
Interesting.
So I don't. Well, first of all, I don't think it's good value. But second of all,
Yeah, I think it's like $799.
Yeah, I just wouldn't
Pretty
choose it.
expensive.
You know.
Yeah. I would take most of the headphones we've talked about up to this point over it, which should probably have been the first thing I said.
Yeah. Okay, so moving to
under
100,000. I am gonna give people. You're gonna hate me for saying this, but this is the chat's gonna love me for saying this. But I fully believe this. I'm gonna say the Aria Stealth. But hear me out. Qualifier is for the people who are looking for that kind of sound signature. It actually represents incredible value because, so basically, if you're saying, well, I want something that's like the HD800S but has better bass extension, right? So they're indexing for things like the spaciousness effect. They're indexing for all those sorts of audiophile qualities. You can get something like that at what is it, like $650?
I think so, or like just over 500.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it actually is good value in that respect, but you have to know that like for a brighter leaning sound signature, like that's what you're getting there with that, like a more ear gain focused kind of sound signature. It does have full bass extension, big ass driver, sure, but it is a brighter leaning sound signature overall, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, to me, the real benefit with that one is just the fact that it has the least bad Hi-Fi Man headband. Like it doesn't have the Ananda headband, which
it has
the strap but no swivel, and it doesn't have the XS headband, which I think swivels a little bit, but it has no strap. So
Hobby Talk says, "Ew, ear game."
My son. I mean, I get that. I don't disagree. Like I think if someone's looking for that, then Aria Stealth has it, and it probably has it for the least amount of money in a comfortable package. I just don't like that headphone, but that's fine. It's not only for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the clear is, I think, the other, like, because I like the Alex so much in that $500 tier, it kind of becomes really tough for me to recommend the clear. I have found anecdotally that the clears I've heard have been a little bit smoother in the treble.
They have been.
But I actually kind of prefer the slightly grittier, more intense low treble of the Alex. I don't really have any justification for that other than I actually feel like the focals in the mid and low treble are just a little bit too sleepy outside of the Utopia. Like that kind of
like a 4 to 5 kilohertz. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So I feel like the Elex having a little bit more there just makes it a little bit more textured and kind of intense in a way that better balances the colorations lower in the mid range.
Yeah. But yeah, I would also give a nod to the clear in this, under $1,000 category. But it's it's the same kind of thing, right? It's like, that's what, like $790 now?
Yeah, it's like $800.
Yeah.
And that just makes it a little bit harder to recommend over the Elex, unless you don't like as much in the low treble, in which case the clear, I think, is more likely to have left there.
And like there are other products like the Hedenis as well, but I have a hard time saying that's great value necessarily.
Honestly, I just wish that thing was at the same price as the Azuris, because it would be a lot easier.
That's what I'm saying, right? Because
I actually think for a normal person, the Hedenis is actually a safer recommendation than the Elex or the clear.
Yeah, I agree. It has the base.
It has the base.
It has the base.
And I actually think the treble is more likely to be
this qualification of for a normal person.
I mean, audiophiles.
Nobody watching is normal. Yeah.
they're way more tolerant of, less bass and,
Yeah.
so that's the
I
thing. It's not even that they're looking for something totally different. It's that when something has less bass, it's not immediately something that takes them out of the joy. Whereas
yeah,
I
and
think a normal person, that's like one of the first things they look for.
yeah, thing is, so my litmus test for a normal person, not necessarily a normal person, but somebody who is like, "Oh, I like the idea of nice headphones. I'm going to spend $800 on some nice headphones."
Mhm.
Um or whatever, right? $700, I don't know. It's my dad, right? Someone who deeply cares about music and but not in this space. Uh f- he tried the Hedenis and the Azuris side by side and was like, no contest. The Hedenis is way better, and it sounded more clear, sounded more distinct, and the Azuri sounded more. He called it jumbled a little bit, the sound, and obviously,
Interesting.
I he has a big head like me, right? so so
Oh,
I imagine that it is actually sealing to some extent on his head, but yeah. This is, to me, it was like, okay, you got a bunch of different variables here, closed back versus open back being one of the major ones, but an open back with a bass boost is a rare commodity, right? Open back,
so
you
Kyle
know.
had brought up Phil phone, and I don't know. Like, I think I personally would probably take a Phil phone over Audenice, but I'm not sure I would recommend
I would
it
not.
as often.
I heard the Phil phone. I like it. I like it because it is that the flare effect, the V shape kind of. It's got the blam, right? But
Wait,
I did not
actually,
like the treble.
so me neither. Um, but I feel like the Phil phone is more colored, just flat out. It's more
Yeah,
colored. But I think it also has more of a spaciousness thing going on than the
yeah.
Audenice is.
I
So I
think
think, like,
that's
for gamers
true.
specifically, Phil phone's
Yep.
probably a better recommendation. But
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe we forgot the DT990 for the gamers.
anyway, but yeah, Phil phone was a good shout. I actually think, as far as value, it's kind of hard to say because there's literally nothing else like it. And I think it's like around 850 now. Um, but I do think for the whole kind of like base head open back
Right.
thing, I do ultimately prefer the MV1. So like it gets even harder to frankly recommend most planars, but also recommend like,
Mm,
things like the Phil phone or the Audenice when I think the MV1 is just kind of a better version of that.
yeah. Um, FT7 and Aun SR 7000.
I
FT7
haven't
I
heard either
liked
of
actually
those.
quite a bit, but I don't know. I wouldn't say value is there.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard them, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't uh I wouldn't hazard a guess at what I would think, but I don't think I would like either of them from
People are
what I've
just
seen.
saying the headphones that they own because they want their stuff to be good value.
So, like, for example, someone says the Meze 109 Pro. I would not say that is a good value headphone.
I also would
Um,
not say that's a good value headphone.
yeah, because it's like I think $800.
Yeah,
Um,
something
and it
like
sounds
that.
like a Sennheiser 5 Series in a nice looking chassis. Um, but the Sennheiser 5 Series aren't like terrible headphones or anything. It's just you can
Well,
get
and
that
this
kind
is
of sonic
where
performance at a much lower price.
value has to be considered, should be considered in terms of sound quality, right?
At least somewhat in
Like
regards to how
the
it compares to less expensive things.
the weighting for this sound quality is weighted higher than, the a nice wooden build or something like the Meze 109 has. Um, which is also why headphones like the 105 Silva would not make the cut at all for value headphones, right? Even if someone's like, "Oh, I really love the way that it looks," it can't be good value
Yeah.
because it's the way that it looks that makes that is the reason why somebody would buy it, and it's $500. Or wait, is it something like that?
Yeah, it's $499 and Air is
Yeah,
$399.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, in general, Meze is not a
not a value
value
oriented.
brand,
No, no.
um, which is fine. I mean, not everyone's looking to maximize
I
value.
I would say for the most part, Focal's not a value brand.
They're not.
Like
I
like
would say Azuris is probably their best value headphone, but it's just got so many caveats to it, like with the clamp, that I find myself, even though I'm a huge fan of it, not really recommending it that often in actual
yeah.
conversations.
How do you feel about the Dan Clark ones? People bringing Dan Clark up in the chat. Oh, Kunal says salary is 1,600 in India, top 1%. Okay, so then
Shouts out.
Okay,
My man makes money moves.
okay.
My man is literally Andrew in the thumbnail right now, sitting on the pile of gold. Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to DCA, like I don't
that doesn't
think
even cover my rent
headphones
here.
are typically a good value. The only ones I like are the really, really expensive ones, like the E3 and the Stealth. So, and even the E3, it's like I don't love it. Yeah, I do like the Stealth. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I thinking of? I thought you. For some reason, I'm confusing
Expanse?
Stealth with Expanse. Yeah.
I don't like Expanse, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do like
Okay.
Stealth.
Okay.
So the thing, so someone says DCAs for niche preference. I actually don't know if that's true. I do think the opposite is also not true, where it's like DCAs for everybody. Because again, they're so expensive that like you have to know what you want.
Well,
yeah,
the Aeon Closed X is what
so I've not heard that one. I've only seen measurements, and it has like a lot of mid bass.
Yeah, but for normies, you know,
It's
but also
at $500 you can get something better. You can get something better cheaper.
It's close back.
Yeah, you can get an IM that sounds better. You can get a Maxwell. Like you can get
a Maxwell. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
You can get a Maxwell. Yeah. All right.
Oh, someone's asking, are we considering used headphones? We're not.
Eminent One says best value, take a trip to CanJam. I think this is like the opposite of the BetterHelp therapy session.
Yeah, best value in the moment, but it'll ruin your life.
Yeah.
Star Fox Gaming asks, do you have a recommendation for my dad who doesn't care about sound quality but wants well-built, comfortable headphones under $150?
No. Okay, moving on.
I was gonna say like Audio-Technica R50X maybe.
Is that under 150?
I think it's at $150.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I might be wrong.
I thought it was way more expensive than that.
R50X?
Because the R50X,
R30 is like 100, and then R70XA.
R50X is a good recommendation for that because it actually, out of all of that new line of Audio-Technicas, it's the only one that has a reasonable design, right? Yeah. Because the cups actually are appropriately angled to the like. I had such a hard time with the new R70X, the R70XA or whatever. It does not fit properly, doesn't angle properly on heads. The whole thing kind of just hangs out where it's like the driver's like hanging out like that. And it's like, why did they do that? Whereas the R50 is the only one that actually is ergonomically designed.
Sorry, I'm just in chat.
All right. That's a good recommendation. No,
anything else under?
I mean, like I would not say that the Moondrop Cosmo is good value, right? Like, because the Para 2 exists at half the price. That is good value in the under $1,000, world. Even though I like the Cosmo better, like let's be clear, I prefer the Cosmo as far as the sound quality is concerned. The Para 2 is better value.
So I know you wouldn't say this, but am I crazy for thinking that like I don't know, maybe it's because the comfort works better for me, but I actually still think the Mega 5 EST kind of has a little bit something there.
Well, no, to be clear, I like the Mega 5. The Mega Fest. I almost said Mega 5 EST and felt shame.
And you're not allowed to say that.
I'm not allowed. It's the Mega Fest. Come on. No, the only thing that I don't like about the Mega Fest, I do agree with Chronicle. It does sound a bit blunted to me, but
yeah, it's a sleepy sounding IEM.
But the tonality, the overall thing is great,
chill.
right?
It's chill.
But I can't. The comfort doesn't work for me at all, and that's the only thing that I'm not, on board with.
Yeah, I just find with all of like the meta IEMs, like they're kind
Kyle says mega snooze fest.
Yeah, no, but like I think all of them are kind of a snooze fest, but like Mega 5 is the only one where it like kind of works, or it's kind of like a nice romantic, easy to listen to chill IEM. Whereas the other ones, I don't know, I just feel like their bass is maybe more aggressive, but also more like mid bassy and kind of bloated. And less well integrated with everything else. And then the treble is typically also more harsh and like, feels more incoherent with the overall sleepiness that's in the rest of the IEM. I feel like the Mega 5 is, I don't know. I think the most coherent of the bunch, and kind of if it's a mega snooze fest, which I would actually kind of agree with. It is the least
you need to snooze
confused
more,
about what
Kyle.
it is.
You you need to hit the snooze button.
Yeah. Um,
See, when folks like Bad Seed Tech say snooze fest for the daybreak, I think that was in his thumbnail. To you, that's like, yep, in a good way.
yeah, kind of. I wouldn't even call that one really a snooze fest as much as a lot of the others, because I feel like it has a little bit more going on in the upper mids. But
Too much going on in the upper mids.
like, I wouldn't say
Oh,
it's too
sorry,
much.
it's lower treble for me. That's actually the problem.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
3.5 kilohertz is the problem for me
Yeah,
on
I,
the
I
daybreak.
wouldn't say it's too much for me at all. It's just I think more than the others relative to like low mids and bass. But to me, that just makes it sound less bad. um, uh, yeah, but like I feel like a lot of the other IAMs I wouldn't say is like a great value. I mean, Daybreak we already kind of said in the other one, but we would take a lot of headphones over it. I'm not sure if there's anything else over $500 that's really all that compelling versus headphones.
I'm struggling to think of value propositions
Yeah,
under $1,000 other than the ones we mentioned.
yeah.
Like I could be totally just missing something here, but like
Well, yeah, I feel like under Mega 5 EST is where value is in IEMs, and then over
yes,
Mega 5 EST, there just isn't any.
they're just the value. Like there are other products that are good. Like I like the U60 and stuff like that, but that's not good value at all. Right? It's like the Composer, right? The Composer. I love this headphone. It's one of my favorite headphones, with especially with these new pads. I know you don't like it. I don't care. There's no scenario where this is good value. Like this is just bad value because it's so
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah. It's a shame. It's a nicely constructed headphone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I have anything else under $1,000. Aria Unveiled, maybe? Is
That's
that under
not a
$1,000?
no, that's not a wait, is
Damn, is
it?
that price difference between Stealth and Unveiled really that big?
Let's see.
That's
I
crazy to me.
1,500
Jeez,
sorry,
$1,500? Never mind.
1450, 1450.
Never mind. Christ.
Yeah.
God, that's a massive price difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's basically it. That's where value goes to die. So there is no value there anymore.
Yeah.
That's now
Which
as
I guess
far as
I guess I guess brings us to the infinite price range, which I mean,
well, no, we should do like okay. So the question really is: are there product if you have $1,000, or let's say if you have an infinite, uh, money that you could spend on audio gear, are there products that are in the sub $500 price range or $1,000 price range that you think would compete? Right, that you
yeah,
would say would
that's
be
that's where I perceive most of the
yeah,
competition to be.
yeah. And I would say there are like. Again, we go back to the same ones where it's like, yes, I would take the Composer over an HD 550, but we're not talking about, like, or
Sound
MV1,
quality.
right? Like, the sound quality, like, for that stuff that's way less expensive, it absolutely does compete, you know? So,
Yeah, which I think brings us back to like the original impetus of this video, which
mhm.
the original question, how can audiophiles ensure they get the best value for their money? The answer to that question a lot of times is by not spending money. Like, for example, you brought it up at the very beginning and kind of put it in as the tier under $100, but EQ is the way to ensure you get the best value for your money. Like if you actually are trying to maximize sound quality for as little money as possible, it's just the way to do it.
So this is where I get into, I guess, the question of the psychology, or whatever's going on in the minds of people who are spending lots of money on audio products, which is they might not internalize it this way or think of it this way, but they're not actually trying to maximize sound quality for money, right? Like they might think that that's what they're doing, but if you actually go through a deeper conversation with them, it's very clear that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to maximize the mythology for their money. right? They're trying to maximize the
Well,
idea.
they're trying to maximize their confidence.
They're sure they're
Yeah.
maximizing their confidence. They're maximizing their these all these different ideas, and it will run through, like, I'm not sure what the order of this would be necessarily, but it will be all kinds of things like brand, like or brand story, let's say, technology story, right? Acoustic technology story, driver memes, all down to measured performance, right? Objective performance, right? That's another kind of confidence that people are going to be, you know, inflating their confidence with. um Authority of what some influencer said about it, right? Or some, reviewer who they really value said about it. So it's all those kinds of things, right? And at the bottom is like, okay, yeah, like, if EQ, if I was the kind of person who wanted to get into EQ, then I wouldn't be buying this kind of headphone. But you eventually get there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of other reasons why, first.
Sorry, just answering in chat. Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page in that regard.
Yeah.
But I also think there's one of the best value things you can do in this hobby, which Eminent One kind of already shouted out, is going to meets. Like whether it's a can jam or a local meet or something like that, like getting to actually hear the
Get your
headphone
local
before you
meets.
buy it, or buying from a retailer that has a forgiving return policy so that you can test something before you commit to it. That's absolutely one of the best things you can do.
Clover says the wrong thing. So you buy good technical headphone and then EQ. So technically, yes, but there is no such thing as
A technical headphone.
it's just a headphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, buy a capable headphone in the sense that, like, don't buy something that's like absolute fucking nightmare above, like 3 kilohertz, uh, and then EQ.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like there's this kind of proves what you were just saying, where people think they're trying to maximize sound quality, but they're not. Because when you tell someone who's looking to buy like a $3,000 headphone, even though they just came into this hobby, which happens disturbingly often, like in community spaces, someone will just walk in and be like, "Hey, I have this huge pile of money. What should I get? I've never heard an audiophile headphone before."
Mhm.
The fact that when you tell them, "Hey, you should just like put aside like half of it and go to a can jam, like just book a night in a hotel, grab a plane ticket,
That's
go
actually,
to
yeah.
a can jam," that is easily better money or better value than just buying a $3,000 headphone outright,
Yep.
especially since $3,000 headphones are tuned kind of weird.
Book a trip to Munich high end.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
Or
immersed in
or
that
just
thing.
go to like a local headphone meet. Like,
Yeah. But I also feel like that, as much as that is good advice, I actually think that doesn't solve the core issue or get to the end. I almost said the final solution. The end result of showing people the differences that you can get with EQ.
no, it doesn't, but it better captures the actual reality of, how you should judge a headphone, which is based on how it sounds on your head, not based on what a bunch
Yeah,
of people are
but when
telling
you're
you
at a
online
can,
would
what my
make it
point
a
is,
justified purchase.
right? But my point is, when you're at a meet or at a can jam or whatever, you are still going to be, your experience is necessarily going to be laden with the vibes and the mythology and all that other stuff
Yeah, and it's gonna be
anyways.
limited too to whatever gear is actually there, which may
Yeah.
not actually reflect the totality of
Yeah.
things that
I,
you
I
have to
guess I guess I agree, it's an entry point and it's a worthwhile one to do. But I think it is just as prone to getting people to spend exorbitant amounts of money. If the goal is, again, let's well, I guess the goal is not how can I get good value. It's the goal is instead how can I spend money.
Yeah. Yes, which is often what people are actually wanting to do, which is
Yeah.
valid, I mean, if it makes people happy, but it's not the best way to spend your money.
Yes.
Um, and then lastly, the last thing I wanted to touch on, which I feel like is an underrepresented, under-discussed thing, is the best way to get best value for your money is just not spend it at all. Like, not do anything. Like, you see people buying things and, like, there's a hype train for the newest thing or whatever. Don't buy it. Just wait. Something better will come along. Like, especially in the IM sphere where I feel like, there's just these constant churns of new products coming out that are like either 2% better or just like not better, but
Mm.
it's a new thing. So a bunch of people buy them and people see this and they want to also buy them and be part of the conversation, and it's more of a kind of FOMO social thing than it is, an actual impulse to improve your experience of music. uh, and it becomes this very weird thing where it's like people are, you know,
So the solution
buying a
here
thing
is
with no idea what they're actually going to think about it because they want to be part of a conversation, which is fine, but it's not really a value move at all.
but
Because
it's okay. I don't know that they think. Well, in a way, they might think about it because
I
they're
don't know,
listening to
Andrew.
people who are reporting, hey, this is good value, right? So then that's leading them to.
The people that tend to actually partake in the hype train churn are two types of people. The type of person who basically likes everything they buy, so they
Mhm.
buy everything. And two, the type of person who sees these people buying everything, reporting that they like it, and saying, "Oh, this sounds really good. Let me, or it sounds like it'll be good. Let me try it out."
I was going to say the solution here is for influencers to be less charismatic. So you just
I mean, there's a
just be
kernel of truth to
just
that though, because
remove the charisma and just be completely dead inside and monotone when you're talking about.
I don't even
you
know
know?
that it's like being monotone or being
No,
uncharismatic.
but so much of people's purchases is based on vibes and not what's actually said. Like it's
Yeah.
based on
We could say whatever we want
yeah,
about a
it
product
doesn't matter. I
not
could be like,
being
blah
perfect
blah
or a
blah blah
mixed
blah, and
bag or
it's
whatever, and
yeah,
people will still be
it's
like, "Oh, it's a positive review. I should buy
exactly,
it."
exactly. Right?
Yeah.
In the Para 2 video I just put out, uh, I was fairly critical of that headphone, right? I was like, it sounds bright and lean, and this sound signature doesn't work because of its treble level. But
But you're smiling when you
but
said
I'm
it, so it's good.
smiling when I say it, and it's because I was excited. I'm genuinely excited about that. How good that driver is, and what you can do with it with different pads and things like that. So it's like what people would take from that is, oh, that's a great headphone, right? It's like, well, yeah, sort of. Like you have to listen. You have to listen to the words. um, and the reality is that we're each going to get excited about different things, right? Like people are going to get excited and place the content, or yeah, the context is going to influence like the emotive aspects of whatever influence is being.
Okay, but someone just had a very good counterpoint, which I kind of agree with, is that in the Para video, you said that the Para with different pads competes with the Susvara or sounds similar to the Susvara,
I
which
said
you
I
did
said
say.
yeah, I said it's Susvara like.
Okay, but like this is what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna say stuff like that, people are
Yeah,
gonna take it in the best possible way for their narrative, which is, oh, I can buy a cheaper Susvara. Um,
yeah. I mean, it's not exactly like a Susvara. There are notable differences, but
yeah,
it's more like that kind of sound signature than well, it's a lot like that kind of sound signature, and I think that represents exceptional value. And if somebody is mad that I'm not like shitting on the product because of its flaws by
it's
default,
me. I'm mad you're not cheating on the
it's not
product.
just you. It's not just you. Because it's like, okay, I did shit on it though. Like if you listen to the words in the video.
If you look at a transcript with no
Yeah, I
Andrew
did shit
attached
on
to it
it.
or no
It's like, come
tone,
on. The
it's
headband
a
is
little more
cursed. The
critical, yeah.
pads suck. It doesn't sound great. It sounds lean. Vocals don't sound good. It sounds hollow. These are all negative words, right?
Yeah, but you're smiling, so it sounds
But
good.
yeah. Yeah. So I guess it's like, well, fuck me for telling you that you can actually use this to get great value.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's not solely a reviewer problem, right? It is, in as it is in many respects, an audience and consumer problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, says only FOMO I had was buying the Batiste MG.
oh, so he's saying he wanted
Did
to
you?
be part of the kind of wave of people buying it. So
But that's weird though because so this was I have things to rant about when it comes
please,
to the media cycle on the Batiste MG because uh, that headphone was announced. I feel like 4 to 6 months before people could actually buy it. So the media, and us included, uh, were talking about this headphone and putting out reviews, whatever. And people were like, "Okay, what what am I supposed to do?" Right? Like, and obviously the narrative around that was, I think, appropriately like this is way too expensive, right? It's even if it's better, it shouldn't be more than twice the price or whatever it is, right? And I completely agree. I think they should have priced that at like $1,000, right? Because the original Batiste was like 700 or something. If they priced it at $1,000, I think that, you know, that narrative would not have existed, and it also would have made more sense to announce it or like start the media cycle around the time when people could actually buy the product, so that the customer base could have a chance to get enthusiastic about a thing, you know, aspirationally, right? And that's the whole thing that was completely missing. And now when it's finally being released and people are finally getting it, um, it's missing that uh, inertia. So this didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, no disagreement here. I don't know what the heck was going on with that, but I'll
It
be
is
a bit clear that I didn't follow it at all because it just
Yeah.
seemed like a bad product for me.
For you.
Yeah.
For me, it was initially one where I was like, this is not that much better than the original Batiste, and then I started going with the dynamic mode, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like a thing that like nothing. This does better at the things that other people who are indexing for overfitting for targets are trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then that's Kinvor says it. It's the opposite of value, right?
Yeah.
It's
I'll be right back.
like I like it a lot. I think it's one of the best sounding ANC headphones, period. And it handily eats the lunch of everything in that price category of like $1,500. Like it's not close. Like if you compare that to the Solitaire T or the Dolly or the all of them up there, the H100? There's no comparison, but it's still bad value. So
Yeah. Best value headphone for EQ. In the chat here.
I mean, you can Para 2.
I actually think I was going to say Para 2, yeah, because I'm thinking about it, and like the thing that makes the less expensive hi-fi mans like the Edition XS and the Ananda less desirable for that would be how narrowband the features are, as well as like how uncomfortable they are, but also like how like I don't know if anyone actually experiences this, but I've actually experienced like a significant amount of distortion in the upper mid range and like
On
ear
the-
gain area on the
sorry,
Edition XS and the what was it, Ananda Stealth, I think it was.
when you measure, so I have come across units of that.
Yeah,
where
it's not every unit.
It's not every unit, yeah. But I
Yeah.
have come across units where like one channel has like a notable second order product, and you can hear it with sweeps even when you're like measuring it, but you're not listening to the headphone.
Yeah, when it's
It's like
not
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, just to say, Kunal says HD600 versus AR5000. I would say HD600 personally.
Yeah, I answered that in chat.
I like the AR5000. It's ergonomically good for me, but HD600 I would say for sound.
Mr. Super is in chat.
Yeah, okay. This comment doesn't make sense. Batiste MG with your best EQ versus XM6 with your best EQ. XM6 even with EQ, it sounds okay at best because it has this problem where there's a massive dip at 8 kilohertz and a peak at like 10
kilohertz.
Yeah. And this like, yes, you can improve it dramatically and you can make it sound like wideband palatable, right? With various different methods of PQ of EQ. But because it's not parametric, you can't fix the problem that needs to be fixed. And so I would say Batiste MG no EQ is better than the XM6 with best EQ. It's just
that's that.
Yeah, I would say like I disagree with the take from Super. I know you liked. Did you say that you liked the XM6 better than the original Batiste with your XM6 EQ?
I don't remember what he said.
I feel like it was something along those lines, or maybe comparable. I don't know, but to me, it's like I would never just. But it's one of those things where it's like if you fixate on that 10 kilohertz problem, you can't unhear it, and it just. I become listener in that moment, right? And it's not just 10 kilohertz on its own that's emphasized, because I don't mind a gradual elevation up into I don't mind excess energy in the upper treble. What I mind is this
the
chasm and
and it's
the the same problem with a lot of the Meze headphones. They do this too, where there's like
Yeah, where they
the
dip in
mid
the mid
treble is
treble.
withdrawn, and then the upper treble is like,
Yep.
and you're like, sounds like I'm inside out. I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would say that Sennheisers do that to an extent too. Not nearly as dramatic, but on my hit at least, they have like a big 7K dip and then a big 10K peak.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of an EQ, like the best value EQ headphone, if you're okay rolling the dice on the modal stuff, then it would be an Edition XS with a Capra strap. But if you want something maybe a little bit safer, the Para 2 is, I think, sensible.
Did you see what Mr. Super did with the Para 2's headband, where he inverted it? I didn't watch this until afterwards.
I think
I was like, oh wow.
Was it Brian who told you to do that, Mark?
Because you could use a Capra strap too, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I was in Pink Noise, his like Discord stream on Wednesdays when Brian told him to do that. It's a good idea. Yeah, no, I co-sign that idea. But yeah, so like obviously I am biased, so like I'm really trying to think if like the dynamic driver options have anything better to offer than these other ones. Like, you know, a part of me wants to say like the MV1, like I do find it to be like nicer looking than the other ones, and I think the stock tuning is also better than the other ones.
Sorry, MV1.
Yeah. And I think it would mostly be a game of subtractive EQ versus additive EQ, which is another potential benefit.
That is a good man. I was going to say 490 Pro, but MV1 as well, because it's like the thing to index for is like ease of EQ, which both of them are not that hard, and then secondarily comfort and build, right? Those things you can't actually change about the design.
I feel
unless you buy Capra strap.
The MV1 is the only one that I feel like you wouldn't need to EQ the mid range.
Fair.
Or the bass.
But to me, EQing the treble is more fine grained, anyways.
It is, yeah.
Would you say? Would you for a person who is not this deep into the weeds, as far as ease of EQ is concerned, do you find that it would be easier for them to EQ the treble or the mid range on a headphone generally?
I mean, probably the mid range, yeah.
Right? Yeah, I agree.
But the thing is, the MV1, you only need to EQ the treble, so you don't need to bother with any of the other stuff.
But, whereas on the 490 Pro, you would want to EQ the mids and the treble potentially.
Yeah,
you would want to do that.
Yeah. But the thing is, generally, that the features on both headphones are less narrow band than on the planars. At least in my experience, like I feel like
there's no 9K resonance of doom.
Yeah. Now someone else asked, what's the best IEM for EQ? And I'm pretty sure this is like the only real answer.
But are they talking like manual?
If they're talking wired, I saw someone mention planar IEMs. I actually think planars might be some of the worst ones.
Be harder, yeah.
Because again, they have like the modal stuff and the narrow band elevations, but they also typically have, not typically, I'll say they more often have channel balance. Like if I were EQing an IEM, I would just choose like the most well-vented single DD IEM I could think of. So
here's a bit of a hot take. Most well-tuned IEMs will be good for EQ, just because what you end up doing with it is you're most likely going to end up notching out
a treble resonance or two.
Length mode resonances.
Yeah.
You might do some other adjustments in the bass. But my take here is that so the original, I guess, counterpoint to BAs is that BAs have higher harmonic distortion and odd order sometimes, regularly, harmonic distortion products, making them less suitable candidates for EQ because distortion is related to level. But in these instances, for well-tuned products, you're making cuts, you're making notches anyways. So typically, that's not as big of a problem that you need to worry about for well-tuned IEMs. And where you would be doing a boost potentially is in the lower frequencies where you got a dynamic driver anyways.
So you're not wrong. The reason this was my first go-to is because even with a hybrid IEM or something like that, or even with a normal dynamic driver IEM, you don't actually know what's happening in your ear canal below like 5 kilohertz.
This is
With
true.
this one, you do. It's kind of like an open back headphone in that regard,
Oh.
where because it's got the automatic adjustment thing, like the parity we see between rigs and humans under 3 kilohertz or so. This is the only IEM I'm aware of where you get that same experience where you can really
For some
trust
reason, I
it
thought you
to
were
get
holding
measurement.
up the space travel. I was
Oh
like,
no. This is the AirPods Pro 2.
okay, got it.
And I think EQ on it would be very easy. Like I actually think the treble of this IEM is quite reasonable. Like all you would really need to do is adjust the mid-range tilt.
Reluctant Engineer says if you're JM1 adjacent, pure. If you're Harman adjacent, Nova. And come on, SimGod EM6L gang, or EA 500 LM or whatever that other one is. I forget.
No. It was
They're all
EM6L.
pretty similar. Yeah.
Well, no, I think the EM6L is quite a bit different than the others in that lineup.
But it's the better. It's the better one. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I do think
we say better because we're JM1 adjacent, but like if somebody's Harman adjacent, maybe they want more. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean the EM6L just seems like a solid V-shaped tune.
Well,
I haven't
okay.
heard it.
Here, the EM6L is good also because of the fit can be deeper if you want it to be. At least that was my experience with it, and so that means that it actually has an easier time killing length mode problems than certain other designs. Like if I compare the measured results of that to like a 0-2, like Krenz 0 thing, for me it's like, okay, the measured results aren't that different, but like in my ears they're very different.
Yeah.
Like no, not even close.
Yeah, I believe it. But yeah, I don't really think so. Just answering kind of what Reluctant Engineer is saying, the problem with both of those, and obviously I'm biased in favor of the pure, but it's still a problem with the pure, is like you don't know what's happening in your ear canal, like in the bass or the mid range. Like I found with the pure that my impression of the sound is a little bit different than the measurement.
You don't know what's happening in your ear canal. Tell that to Zeos. He knows.
But with
he'll hit you with that subjectivist epistemology.
No, go put it back in the mug. But no, like this is the only the only IEM I found that I can just EQ to the same targets I'm using with headphones,
right,
in the mid range,
right. Oh, so
and
tried
it sounds like the same.
Okay, so for folks who are
Whereas
unaware,
with the pure, for example, I hear a little bit more upper mid range than the graph suggests.
So I actually I think the pure is a great candidate for EQ because, like again, if you think about the way that most people are going to be doing EQ, it is probably going to be based on a graph, not something where they're able to well, two things. One is they're going to need to hook into software of some kind, and so having an easy way to do that, it actually lends itself better to passive wired IEMs. But the other is where the only adjustments that you would end up needing to make it like more, let's say, normal. It's already quite normal, but like to make it even more normal would be low mid reduction.
Yeah,
and then
and that's basically the only EQ I do with it.
Yeah, and then so it's like, what else? Like all the rest of it would be personalized things that you would need to figure out for yourself subjectively, anyways. And a graph doesn't help you there. So, and then it's like maybe apart from the APP2, but the APP2 still is going to run into. This is just conjecture on my end, but like I still find issues with it in the treble. So it's like you're going to end up needing to do the fine grain shit, anyways. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. Should we move on to the next topic here? We've got.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next topic is one that had kind of come up a few times, both due to our Daybreak review, but also it's come up a few times in the past. And with the Para 2 review that Andrew just did, it's something I was thinking about, which is, should reviews consider options other than the stock experience? So examples like non-stock pads or non-stock ear tips, or
there was a comment that this question comes from.
So there was it came from a member of the forum as well.
Maybe it was related to the by the way, Nur says APP2 is my go-to to IEM outside, at home Genelex.
This is a based individual.
Yeah. I envy you.
Yeah. So yeah, forum user GW1 is who
Okay.
suggested that, and I think it
Might have
was
been the same person and who put the comment, but
possibly.
there was a comment on the Para 2 video, which was basically saying the same thing, that like we shouldn't be um running interference for manufacturers who are putting out subpar products or inferior with inferior. I think they said materials, but they probably meant like the fact that they're using those pads on the Para 2. We should we should review what's comes in the box and not give it a pass because of what you can do with it, essentially. And uh, and my answer to that is like, okay, well, wouldn't you want more information? Like, wouldn't you want as much information as you can? And I think the same, like, in some ways, this is like, this goes back to the question of like how much of reviews is just a vibes thing, because you know I can't tell you how many times like I've disagreed with somebody about a product just because they didn't have the context about it that I did. Right? They didn't know, oh, you can do this with it. They were like, oh, this is terrible. I hate everything about this. I was like, okay, but you realize you just do this one little thing, and then that issue that you had with it is gone. But then they still, because they felt that way about the product, they still internalize that and like, okay, but now they've found all kinds of other reasons why it's still a bad product. Actually, the XM6 is a good example of that. I'm not going to go into that story here, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you truly are able to come at it from a blank slate, my thought process on this would be, well, wouldn't you want to know everything, right? And in an ideal world where people aren't making purchase decisions based on the vibes and the fact that somebody is smiling or whatever, and instead made purchase decisions on the words that get said, the data that gets presented, and the content, the actual content contained within the video, then providing more is always better. We're not providing them with ways to weaponize anthrax. It's not like there's any downside to knowing more.
Yeah, but I do think this kind of discussion is something that people, or sorry, not people, certainly not people, reviewers. So that kind of inhuman ilk that concerns themselves with the minutia of
Assholes. Yes.
audio products. Yeah.
Yes.
I think these people should consider this question, because I'm not sure I have like a single coherent answer to it. Like, I think I agree with everything you said, that you should characterize the stock experience, and then if there is context past that, you should provide that. That's a no-brainer. Like, if you with every review is a fact-finding mission, right?
And
And
also,
the more facts you can find and present to your audience, the better.
It does also a little bit require the context of the product as well, which includes the things that other people have said about it in the community, which includes the narratives that those products beget. I don't know if that's the right word for this, but you know what I mean, right? Like, it includes the online discourse around them. And the Para 2 is a good example of that, where the Cosmo was about pad swaps. The original Para was about pad swaps. Fuck it. The Para 2 is going to be about pad swaps, right? Yeah. And if that's the story that you want to tell about the product, because that's what's interesting about it, you may as well include that. I'm not saying it should be only that, but you may as well include that. That's my take on it. They're the same reason that Odyssey, there was always this narrative like, well, Odyssey has wonky tonality, but like if you EQ, then that, like it's this amazing thing, right? And it became so much the narrative around those products that they then released products. They have their whole, like EQ, profiles and everything where they themselves have done it. So it became part of, the general discourse around those products, such that it actually influenced the products themselves. So in a way, it's like a product to product context based inclusion.
Yeah, I think my worry is that because of what we were talking about earlier, where regardless of the content of the reviews themselves, every piece of information is going to be taken through a filter of a reader who wants to feel a way about the product. So, like, for example, with the Daybreak review and the coffee tips and all that, I think a lot of people with any Crin release, there's a lot of inertia where people want to buy it. People want to support Crin. We still here? Not just you.
Says we're good. Says we're okay.
Okay, we're good. Okay. So what I was saying is that even though both of us said Daybreak with stock tips, kind of buns, honestly. Even though we said that, the way most people went is not buying the Daybreak.
Yeah.
They just bought the Daybreak with the coffee tips because we did provide context that something else would help. But I do wonder,
So
for the person that would just review the stock experience, they're missing out on a pretty good IEM.
yeah, and this is where to me it gets to. Wouldn't you want more information? Wouldn't you want all the information? If it's something like that, right? Like it's a different thing entirely. If it's like, yeah, this headphone's good if you change the fucking headband.
Yeah.
I mean, like it completely remove the.
That's the thing, though. It is a question of where you draw the line.
Where you draw
And
the line, yeah.
I do think ear tips is like, as far as non-stock modifications, basically the simplest one out of any of them because it's less expensive than pads. If you're any regular consumer of IEMs, you have some around that are probably going to be different. It's not like a headband or even a cap or strap. Like,
yeah, I
would say it's even easier than EQ.
Yes, and this is one thing where, like, if you go to the Para 2 or the Cosmo or whatever, the fact that the pad mounting system and pad swapping is so easy, right? If you compare that to other headphones where there's like a clip-on system or something where the pad actually doing pad swapping would be meaningfully challenging to do, right? Yes, you have to buy the extra pads.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the reason I'm saying ear tips are kind of easier is because they're so inexpensive. They're like the coffee tips are like $3.
Sure. Okay, yes, but in the context of a $500 headphone, that's different from a $160 headphone, and you can get pads for $50. So it's not like it's that crazy. And I would agree though, like it's part of it. But my thought is like, if as long as you also provide the unaffected criticism, right, where criticism is due, it's fine to then also include the additional information that a person who is interested in that product might find relevant.
Yeah.
Because and that's where it's the same as the Daybreak, because it's like if we had reviewed it the way that some people, like the commenter, would have wanted, right? Just review what's in the box. Don't go beyond that. As you said, so many people would be missing out on what is ultimately a great experience.
Yeah, and not only would so many people be missing out, basically all of my reviews of IEMs would be bad. Not just most of them like it is now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like I don't really care that much. I mean, it's a bit like saying this is a good car if you swap the tires, but if the default tire with the default tires that you get, it's a bad experience.
This is exactly the analogy that Mark used when we were talking about this. So full disclosure, we had talked about this on a Wednesday live stream. It was like 3 weeks ago or something like that. But something he said, I think more recently, is that he can't remember the last time the best tip for an IEM was the stock tip.
Yeah.
Like, and he reviews way more IEMs than we do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like it just kind of makes sense, especially because ear tips are kind of different than pads, in that instead of being like this crazily different thing like pads have the potential to be sometimes, it's more of like an anatomical filter of sorts. It kind of shifts you towards one
yes, but it can still go from disqualified to qualified.
Sorry?
Yes, but it can still go from disqualified to qualified. Like a different tip can make
a
disqualified
absolutely
product to one that is qualified.
But I think the differences are, yes, of a magnitude that is less significant, but also like of a different kind. Like it's almost so like if I'm a person that has the preference for a dip in a certain band because of my HRTF, like an ear tip that allows the IEM to better adapt to that is more akin to simulating someone who doesn't need that dip than a pad would be like simulating someone else's HBTF. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I'm not sure I agree. But this gets to my conjecture that those features for IEMs are more perceptually significant because of the pinna bypass. It's total conjecture, but basically the thought process is this is why we see so much there's more variation in terms of how what people like in IEMs. And the thought process is, yeah, like if you're bypassing the pinna, there's less potential for interaction with your actual anatomy. So those
Yeah, I
things
mean,
now
so
matter more.
so I don't necessarily disagree with the claim that the pinna bypass
I
matters
don't have
a
proof of this.
lot.
I just want to say this is just conjecture.
Yeah,
This is just
no.
what I've observed, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, but yeah, it's just when it comes to like where the taste bounds are versus headphones where I'm a little less certain.
But Kyle, is the difference here is EQ often doesn't come with the product. If EQ comes with the product, then it's fine to include that as part of your, like what you can do with it. Just like the Sony XM6 thing. If if as part of what you buy, they have developed software that you are meant to engage with, I think it's perfectly reasonable to say, okay, it sounds like this without it, and it sounds like this with it. And if that ends up being I don't like it without using the software, I do like it with using the software, then that's the conclusion of the review, right? Um, and I think we get too hung up on is this the question of answering the question of is this a good product, where the software bit of it is great and the hardware bit of it is crap, when really the answer is just this more nuanced thing of like, well, you know, exactly a description of that with these adjustments, it's great. And you're buying the product, and that is part of what you bought. So it's an entirely different thing compared to, oh, I bought this headphone, and
And then
now I'm
and then
going
I
to.
bought a $100 impulse response convolution that tunes it to
Well,
something
God,
else.
Jesus Christ! So that's incredibly stupid. First of all, but also if you're like, okay, now, and I'm guilty of this in the past, and I feel great shame for having done this, but then basically saying here's the software, like additional thing that you would do with third party software, right? Where you make this adjustment. I think there are exceptions to this where there are certain products where like all you're doing is making like a very simple adjustment that anybody could do, also with physical things too. Like there are. So an example might be like here. This is a headphone that has a nonlinear impedance curve in this particular band. If you run it out of a low output impedance device, it's super lean and sounds kind of like crap. But if you run it out of a high output impedance device, you can get this entirely different kind of response. Uh, the end result is okay. It's still not that great, but if you have this kind of combination, if you can run it out of the higher output impedance situation, then you're going to end up with a different kind of sound signature, and that's worth noting. So, I think it's just that it just requires an understanding of nuance on the part of the viewer or the reader that this is. It's not just a binary. This is good or this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of why, maybe not what separates good reviewers and bad reviewers, but like, part of the thing that I think makes a good reviewer at least is the curiosity to actually try different shit with the product and bring their context of, oh, this might work, so I'll try this, or this might work, so I'll try this. Not to unfairly be positive to the product and give the product more chances to succeed, but because we're all enthusiasts and we all have a context that we bring to any review, and I feel like that's an upside. That's a value we bring that is unique to all of us. So I feel like one of my favorite parts of Mark's reviews is that he has every fucking ear tip known to man, and but he
Yeah.
generally also has an idea of what might work for him. So even if it's not something that's going to work for me, he tries a bunch of stuff and kind of at least lets you know what works best. And usually, if it's the one that works best that it wasn't stock, he might
No,
measure with that one too.
people are misunderstanding this. Marvin, that's not what we're saying. If EQ is the thing that comes with the product, like not EQ, but like if software that includes EQ comes with the product for free when you buy the product, it's not a third party thing, it's not a separate thing that you bought, then it's fine to include that as like it's not only about that, but
I
it's
mean, I
fine to
think
include that.
I think he's speaking in support of EQ. I think he's more so just
Oh,
saying the
okay.
car analogy doesn't work because EQ is like more of a
Oh
quantifiable,
no, that's the car
communicable
analogy
thing.
is for different tips or different ear pads or something like that.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, the car analogy is not for EQ. EQ is free, or it should be free. That's the whole point of it.
Sure.
But oftentimes, like this is where like I create a bit of a distinction now between EQ that's third party and EQ that's supplied by the manufacturer, because oftentimes EQ that's supplied by the manufacturer in terms of software that you would engage with is also done badly. So it is worth criticizing it for those reasons.
A lot of the time, yeah. Um, Roy, I think that's Roy Dash me from Discord. What's up, man? Says EQ should not be included, I assume, in the review. The barrier to entry is high-ish, but ear tips, yes, most people have tons laying around, cheap, easy to swap. So I kind of disagree, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
I disagree with this.
so only kind of though. Like, I do think the barrier to entry to good EQ is kind of high. Whereas
Yeah.
with ear tips, you just buy them and put them on. And you experience a difference, even if you don't know how to quantify that difference, which the ability to quantify is kind of necessary for EQ to do it in a way
And
that
EQ is
will
free.
guarantee you. What's
Even
up?
ear tips cost money.
Yeah, I
Even if
mean
they're
they're
a lot of
super
money.
cheap a lot of the time, but
Sure.
but yes, EQ is free. It must be said. A bass boost is absolutely free, both in terms of like actual money, but also in terms of effort. It's very easy to just apply bass boost. But to get the kind of differences you would get with an ear tip with EQ would be a lot harder to do with EQ than by an ear tip.
It's not like overclocking your PC, because overclocking your PC comes with a certain amount of risk. Where EQ, like I'm trying to think of a scenario where EQ would actually, maybe if you're like massively bass boosting a Focal open back or an FT1 Pro, and
He's saying
you're just
it's
cranking up the
really-
excursion, like hitting the excursion limits. Like
but
that's maybe
he's
the
saying in
only
terms of
scenario.
danger, those are the only things I could think of. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else where you would actually be incurring risk.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think in general we're in agreement that you know the non-stock experience is not something that's meant to, how should I put this, give the product a way out of being bad when it's bad. I think it's more so that when we get a product across our desk, not only are we experiencing the product, but we're also, because we're bringing the product to an audience, we're kind of thinking of a narrative around this product and what
What's the
makes
story?
sense.
What's interesting about it?
Yeah, what's
What's
interesting
relevant?
about it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, for some reviews, they're not thinking about that. They're just doing just a here's what I have, here's what I think, that's it. Um, but I think what's interesting about it is typically what we're both thinking when we receive a product. And a lot of times it's nothing until you actually start exploring things that don't come in the box.
Um,
Um,
yeah, well, yeah. Sorry, Clover. Overclocking requires voltage and better thermal. EQing you may face distortion as well.
Distortion isn't dangerous though.
It is this. First of all, that, but it's also not actually. It's not nearly as perceptually relevant as people think. It is another like category of evaluation that has been sort of propped up by the review space, because it's a thing that people can evaluate, right? And lower is better typically, but you'll be shocked at how not audible harmonic distortion is, even if there's visually or measurably high harmonic distortion, particularly if it's low order. It's actually quite remarkable how imperceptible this is. So EQ distortion, yes, technically that is a limit to what you can do with EQ, but if you need to, I'm gonna echo something that I think Blaine has said ages ago. But if you're adding like a 20 dB bass shelf to something, you know, that to this point where it's causing you to have audible harmonic distortion, is that reasonable? Right? That's I don't think that it is.
Eminent One says, "Imagine eating chicken without EQ."
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that'd be
I
terrible.
couldn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Oris putting plus 15 dB on HD 600 is fine. I would say that that's too much. Like I would not do that, right?
I mean,
But
how much brings it to like flat? Is it like 9 dB or something like that to flat?
like 5. Oh, to flat, like
Really?
Harman flat or what?
No, to flat.
To per to
Like at 20 hertz?
I think it's like pretty close to like 5 or 6 dB. It can't be that much.
I can test this
Yeah, you
really.
take a look. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think
Um,
I've ever put 15 dB on a HD 600, and I
yeah.
like it
So like,
bass. So
let's say we're going for a moderate tilt of like let's say 0.8. It's like
Lucas
10.
is 10. Okay,
It's
okay,
like 10. So then, what did they say? 15.
yeah.
It's reasonable. I mean, it's harmonish.
All right, I'll need to test this if that's audible, but I kind of think that's I don't know.
I don't think it'll be audible.
Okay, we're also talking like really low in frequency, so
That is very low in
that's
frequency.
not.
Yes.
If it's at like 3K, then you have a problem.
Well, not on HC600 because its distortion in the midband is actually incredibly low.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If it were so maybe, and that's where something like a Edition XS or a Aria or something like
Is
that might
less
be
safe of a
is
choice.
less safe. I agree. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Let's get should we do spicy hour, spicy half
well,
hour.
is there any other news or impressions you want to talk about? I got a bunch of ear tips from
Speaking of passive
Randall.
EQ,
Yeah. Well, I mean, so these are ones that I actually wanted to try for a while. And it just so happened I was able to get them. So I got a pair of the or like a pack of the Senkai normal, like the Tengzu Senkai. These are the wide bores. The normals are on my pure right now. But have you ever seen these, Andrew?
no, I am the lo-fi.
They're freaking weird, dude. I don't know if this is gonna come across on the stream, but they have like a
Oh,
texture.
whoa,
You see it?
that's yeah, I see it.
It's like
The
fucking
stream might not
stucco
be
on
able to
my
see that.
IAM tips or
How
something
does
like
that
that.
feel?
So I was really worried about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really notice the texture that much. The texture
It's
of Divinus Velvets is a lot more
textured
noticeable and weird to
for
me.
your pleasure.
But what's interesting is that most people, when they measure with these, experience a little bit of leak, but it's like just a little bit. And I found anecdotally that there is kind of like a weird feeling, not of the texture, but of my ear canal not being fully sealed. That you kind of might have to get used to, or reseat until you get like the
Sure.
minimal amount of that feeling. With the normals, I actually love them. They're kind of like a Divinus Velvet, where they're fairly wide bore, like wider than an ATO7, but they're a little bit long too. So like on the Pure, for example, they don't cover
Oh,
any
interesting.
of the little holes.
Yeah.
So like as far as like the load at the front of the nozzle is concerned, it's completely open, but there's a little bit of length there.
So it actually
Well,
increases the distance slightly.
just slightly. And I
Interesting.
find that those two things kind of lead to a treble character that's kind of between Coffee Tips and Divinus Velvet. So a little bit less reduction than Coffee Tips, but a little bit darker than Velvets. And then the texture and that kind of little bit of leak. I don't know if it's placebo, but I feel like it just kind of helps the Pure be a little bit snappier and less kind of slow sounding, which really works for me. So that's kind of the tip that's living on those right now. And they come in blue, green, and yellow. So I have the blue and green on there because my ear canals are actually two different sizes. These are the wide bore ones. These are kind of similar to Divinus Wide in terms of from the spout, they have like a conical kind of like horn shape to them. I don't know if that's visible.
Horn
They
loaded
kind of like
IEM.
flare, like from the blue part on the inside, they like flare outwards like
Yeah.
a cone or like a horn. And so this is the second type of ear tip I'm trying that does that. And it shares things in common with the wide bore Divinus tip that I think this is actually probably in terms of like overall acoustic impedance, the lowest type of tip you can have because it's basically just got such little resistance on the path between the spout and your eardrum that what you get is the effect of Coffee Tips where you get that dip in the mid treble because it's shifting the resonances upward. but you don't get any damping. So it's actually the most upper treble of any ear tip I've tried. It's really weird. But I think for like a treble extension memer, like someone who is actually using the word correctly for one, and like actually just wants the most uppermost treble as they can get, I actually think something like this is actually really, really good. But that's not what I'm after, so it doesn't really work for me.
Sorry, Kunal says, what % of net worth should be spent on headphones at max? Guys, I have no idea.
I would say very low. I would say a very low percentage, like
I don't
1%.
know. Depends on your net worth.
I think 2% is fair. Reluctant.
Okay.
I'm trying to get. So I also got the Triclarion, I think they're called. They are so fucking weird. They look like nipples. I'll show you what I mean.
Awesome.
You say awesome?
Yeah.
Griffin, a big skim milk guy. How dare you? How dare you say that to me? Well, first of all, I don't really drink milk. I don't. I'm not into that.
That was the most Griffin answer.
Yeah. I mean, for one, I live with a vegan, but two, milk's just kind of like gross, like on its own. Like,
Are you one of these people who doesn't like cheese?
No, I fucking love cheese. No,
Okay.
I will. Yeah.
I say, like, you don't like alcohol. You don't like milk. Like, what is this?
Yeah, these are things that taste bad, Andrew.
You don't like coffee? No, these are just the best things in
again,
life.
you're just proving my point.
No,
right.
no.
I'm about to ruin this packaging because it's taking way too long. Okay. So these are the Triclarions, and they are a wide bore tip, but they have this like weird shape to them that I feel like.
Can you twirl them? Can you give them?
I don't know how much
Yeah,
that's helping
that's really weird.
illustrate it, but yeah, they're really wide bore. They're actually quite a bit longer than I thought they would be. They're kind of like the original Asla Sedna ear fit, where they kind of have like a collar underneath that kind of just adds a little bit of length, and they're just kind of long. I feel like so the Symphonium guys use the Asla Sedna a lot, and it's because they like a shit ton of treble. What this kind of tip does is it shifts the length mode lower, but also because it's so open, it lets a lot of upper treble through.
Sorry, Eminent One says skim milk equals colored water.
Yo, he's spitting. That's exactly what it is, and it tastes worse than water. So what's the point?
I actually kind of agree. I'm not a skim milk kind of guy. I like full fat. 3% at least.
3% seems like less than full. But anyway,
I know, but I'm saying at least 3%. I won't drink it unless it's 3%.
So they shift the length mode down so you get more low treble, but it also is so wide that you get more upper treble. So it's just like more treble. So I probably shouldn't have bought these, but I have them in case
you can send them to me along with the MV1. I might like them.
The thing is they're long, so they'll lower the length mode and bring it more into the mids. I don't know if that's what you're going to want. So what I actually think you might like is this one, which is the Asla.
I need short, narrow bore.
Yeah, so that's why I think you'll like these. These are the Asla ASMR Max. I think you might have heard Caleb talk about them, but I specifically got the one for the for true wireless IEMs because they are like so short. They are the shortest ear tip I think I've ever encountered, and I got them because I thought if they were good that you might like them. But yeah, that is like that is a pancake. Now the downside there is
we're still talking about tips, right?
Yeah. So the downside is that they like this thing is so short that most nozzles are just longer than that, and it has like a grill in it that I don't know. Is this working?
Yep.
So that means you can only insert it so far, which might be good because that means it won't bottom out and you won't get like the nozzle scratching you. But because of the grill on the front of it, the front impedance is quite high, so it does kind of act like a narrow bore tip. So it's a very short, quite closed off tip that I think you might actually like if you can find an IEM that it fits on for you.
Right.
I was trying it on the Pure and it does fit and it does kind of stay on the nozzle, but there is like there's like a lot of slack underneath the tip, which didn't look great. I also didn't love the sound either,
This
though.
actually
I love narrow bore tips on this. So
this gets a little bit into the the topic we were just or discussion topic we were just having about like evaluating with different tips. But if you are somebody where you are always going to have, you're prone to having certain length mode resonances in IEMs, you may as well review with different tips because your experience is not going to be like somebody
that's what I
else's
was
is
saying. It's
different.
making
It's
your situation
so
more like a normal person's
so
situation in a
so I
lot of
actually
ways.
think that that's well conjecture. We don't actually know if that's the case, but it would be entirely unsurprising, right? Or like so here's the way I look at it, right? Like say um ear canal length is something where it trends around people with larger heads have larger ear canals or something like that. My experience is going to be a lot closer to somebody with larger ear canals or larger heads, but all IEMs are made in such a way where you're going to end up having those resonances in exactly that spot. If you have an ear tip that fixes that problem, you may as well use it
Or mitigates it.
or mitigates it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why I want to try as many ear tips as possible because really, like for me at least, I clearly have some idiosyncrasies about myself that thankfully I've nailed down pretty well. But I think if I'm going to be reviewing IEMs, I need to not only quantify that, but quantify why if a stock ear tip isn't working for me, why?
Yeah.
And what direction I could go to and what a reader could go to fix
Yeah.
that if they have a similar issue. But yeah, that's it for the ear tips. We can move on to spicy hour now.
Let's move on to spicy hour. Folks want us to talk about the new Hi-Fi Man Edition XV and the HE600, stuff like that. We're very excited about those, but we don't have them in yet.
Yeah, we've not received any
So,
units or anything like
yeah.
that.
So
Sai at Unheard Lab did a review of it and posted a measurement. So if you want to see a measurement on a industry standard piece of test equipment, he has them on a Gross 43AG-4. So it's the 43AG with the older
right.
RA0045 coupler.
Right.
High quality measurements. So if you want to see that, you can.
Looks like a good planar for somebody who finds planars bright. So a warm poo planar.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about it being a little bit too warm poo, but I
Okay.
think this
Because
is
the whole
probably
section from 900 hertz down is like a little elevated over the bottom of the ear gain.
well, yeah, just because there's just a big dip in the mids, and that dip in the mids is typically offset by a hot 3 to 5 kilohertz region, and then a buttload of upper treble. It doesn't have either of those things anymore, and it still has the dip. So
that could be for everybody, but for people who are warm poo heads, worth consideration.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think what I want on the market is something that obviously may not be uber popular with other people, but I feel like we have so much warm bright stuff, but we have basically no warm stuff except for like the Aun AR5000. Like decisively warm, like warm with no extra treble. Like just going for warm.
because audiophile means having extra treble.
To an extent. But I think the XV looks like it might be, if not perfectly coherently warm, then something that is more coherent than the kind of warm, bright
or it
HD
says you
800
just want your W 2022.
Oh man, that's
this is getting back to the 24 dB tilt days.
Yeah, I mean I love that headphone. That is an S tier headphone, but man, that thing sounds weird. I love it though.
Nightrise, measuring all IEMs with a consistent pair/style of tips would be interesting. No idea if it would be useful, but it would be cool to see the data.
I hate this take. So I don't hate this take. What I hate is that multiple databases on Squiglink do this, and they don't.
And also align at the length mode resonance.
Well, yeah, I mean that's like an internal comparability thing. I don't love it, but I get why it's done. the single tip thing though, like I don't see any good reason to do that realistically as your main data. Like, and so many people do this. It bothers me a lot because
Well,
it's
it's the same. It's the same reason why for over your headphones, you don't just want one single seating, right? You want to have positional data as well
well,
because it
no
can.
one does positional data except for like Timmy and sometimes Mark, and that's
Well,
basically.
us. Oh, for
Oh, I meant on
IEM.
I
Oh,
meant
IEMs. Yeah,
on the squiggles
yeah.
linkage. Yeah, and they had
So
to be bullied considerably. So
yeah,
okay, he's just saying it as extra data points. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, in general, people should measure with multiple tips, and if they do that enough, you'll get that, but with multiple tips and not just one.
yeah. All right. Best value is whatever kills FOMO. Interesting. I And also, like, if you think about the products that have staying power within the market, they're usually the ones that are also considered good value because the manufacturers have reasons to make multiple runs and continue.
Yeah,
Right? It's good value for the manufacturers as well. So, right,
yeah, man.
you can maximize your tooling essentially. Why not?
And like, I feel like I've gotten to the point where, and this may be cynical. No, it is cynical. It's not maybe. It's absolutely cynical. I've gotten to the point where I can like identify when a product is going to be short-lived and when it's actually going to have staying power
Yeah, yeah,
based
yeah, yeah.
solely on who is talking about it
I,
and who thinks
I've
it's going to be good.
I've been wrong about this kind of stuff, but like, it is a thing that I've been thinking about a lot more in my like when I'm doing evaluations. Like, is this something that like a year from now we'll be talking about? 2 years from now? 10 years from now?
I feel like I can guess with very high correctness ratio of when something is going to be. I mean, it's kind of easy with IEMs because like just most of them aren't going to. Um, that's just kind of like an easy catch-all that you can just throw out there. But yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Pandemonium says, I was watching a video by another YouTuber who hypothesized that a lot of what we perceive as bass is the physical feeling of vibration we get from large objects moving near our bodies, not the sound waves themselves. So planar's E-stats will never be able to create satisfying bass because they don't have enough moving mass. That is the opposite of what is going on with those, but that's okay. What are your thoughts on this? So I'm going to say no. Like, okay, the second part of that would be the opposite, right? Because you're getting wait, is the idea that you would have more moving air or moving physical things?
I mean, air is a physical thing, but
Well,
I
but
think they're
like, do they
talking about
mean
bodily transmission, which
yeah,
is
yeah, 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 like like specifically feeling physical vibrations, not just from air moving, but from like a I don't know. This makes sense to me.
no, I get why people bring it up, but like I don't know. I feel like there's so much about the experience of music that is not just the vibration hitting your body. Like there is I don't know. Even when it comes to bass, like it's not just about the feeling in your body, it's about the spectral
The
content
feeling
of
in your
how it works
soul.
with everything else. Like it's I get why people care about this because yeah, in speakers, in cars, it's fun to have your body rumbled, and obviously
No, no,
there are consumers in the headphone space that want that in their headphones. Um,
yeah, yeah. So like the there's the bit about like infrasonic playback frequencies being perceptually relevant because you can physically feel the vibration of what that is producing, right? It's still there's still sound pressure level going on, right? And it can be measured and you can perceive that even if you can't hear it. So that's one thing. But there's another part of this take, and I maybe we just need some clarification, but the physical feeling of vibration we get from large objects moving near our bodies.
what do you mean?
This is the bit where it's like if you took away the SPL propagation bit of that, would we still be able to perceive that?
Well, sound moves through air. It
That's where I'm
also
like, I
moves
don't
through
get. So it
objects.
doesn't make sense to me.
No, but it also moves through objects, and the
So
difference is
it,
that. Let's go ahead.
like bone conduction or something like that. Is that the idea?
Well,
Or like
it's simple
physical?
transmission of motion. Like it's not crazy. It's just when it comes to objects or people or the floor, like they're a lot higher mass than air, so they don't
So if you
resonate
put
at high frequencies as efficiently as they do at low frequencies.
yeah,
So we
so
only get low frequencies transmitted through these things.
through these things. So the thought process here though would be to decouple the sound propagation element for infrasonic tones from physical vibrations that we feel through things like floorboards when there's a subwoofer going on.
Well, that's the thing.
Is that
So
the idea?
infrasonic means sub 20 hertz.
Yes, yes.
I don't think we perceive them through our ears, so there's no.
That's my point. I don't think we perceive them through our ears anyways.
But I
So
don't
I
think
don't
they
know.
were purely talking about infrasonics. Like I think they're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about
Oh, like
bass
okay, base.
more
Okay,
broadly.
okay. But then you can also hear that, in which case,
You can, but they're saying like as they say, a 40 hertz produced by a subwoofer and a 40 hertz in a planar headphone don't feel the same. And there are reasons for this that aren't just like the difference between transmission through the floor to your body versus air into your ears. Um,
or air to your body. 'Cause
yeah,
you
yeah,
feel the
or
yeah.
yeah, no, or air to your body. Absolutely, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like what people are chasing there is not an aspect of accurate sound reproduction. It's an aspect of fun, which is absolutely essential to music, but it's not.
So
Uh,
the
I think
reason why
something
this is
people should be focused on or asking, like, how can I make this IEM rattle so I get that experience? Because
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
going to get the same experience from anything worn on your head because that cannot
Well,
be the sound
no.
of your here. That's not.
Yes, yes, true. But the reason I'm interested in this take and why I'm like, I guess I don't understand if this is to do with the psychology of the person identifying bass or a thing to do with the uh, separating out two types of physical sensations, right? Because this is interesting to me because of do I have it here? Sorry, one second. This is the driver from that company where it's basically a coaxial headphone driver.
Yeah.
And it has almost like two resonance frequencies. And it's very weird. But when we listen to this we listened to a headphone that had these drivers in it. And the feeling of bass was so unlike any headphone that you have ever heard before in your life.
Well, I mean, I've heard the Skull Candy Crusher Evo,
But
so
this is not like this. This was not like that sensation. Like, does the Skull Candy Crusher Evo
yeah.
have this kind of driver in it?
I don't know if it's exactly physically like that, but it's
This
a vibration motor.
is not a vibration motor though. This is a coaxial.
Why does it matter that it's coaxial?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, right? Like, is it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it is still a vibration motor, though. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I never heard. I have never heard anything, or never experienced, I guess, anything like this before. Because I have also heard the Skull Candy Crusher. And this was not. It wasn't a bass level thing at all, and it wasn't just a sense of, oh, now it's vibrating when the bass hits. It was a very different kind of thing. It was more of like maybe because they were more inseparable, right? Like the experience was more inseparable. Where the bass was physically like, it felt like the bass was shaking my head in ways that you get when you hear speakers with really low excursion or really high excursion, so low SPL or low frequency SPL. Anyway.
One sec, sorry.
Oh, we're getting more of this in chat. Can't hear below 20 hertz, but we feel a vibration that doesn't qualify as sound, tactile feeling.
So someone said they can hear a 10 hertz sine wave. Who says I'm not hearing it? The question then is, are you hearing it or feeling it? because those are different. Are you hearing 10 hertz with no harmonics, or are you playing a 10 hertz wave from a system and then you're hearing a 20 hertz harmonic? Or are you playing it on a subwoofer and that 10 hertz tone is physically rattling things in the room, and those things in the room are making their own sound that you're hearing?
So pandemonium clarifies the thought process. Think of it this way: when a deaf person stands next to the jet engine, they can feel the engine but not hear it. So this is not the take that I thought you were making. This is the more standard.
What they're making, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was thinking they were talking about like decoupling the sense of physical, whatever tactility from the SPL propagation that you just couldn't hear because it was infrasonic.
Yeah, you as Roy says, you can feel it but not hear it. But yeah. I guess what I'm saying is chasing that in a head-worn transducer
doesn't make sense because it's not hitting you in the chest.
It's not even that it doesn't make sense. It's that it doesn't make sense over all of the other stuff you should be worried about. Especially because I feel, this is just my experience, but whenever I have worried more about the other stuff, getting the mid-range and treble right and making sure the spectral balance is even, the bass gets more satisfying than speakers. Like I find with speakers, one, it's like something that is weirdly not placeable in the room unless I'm getting rattle from something in the room, but in which case I'm not localizing the bass, I'm localizing things in the room that it's moving and causing sympathetic resonance with. But it's also like this kind of imprecise kind of feeling. Like I feel like with headphones it's a lot more integrated with the music, whereas with speaker bass I feel like it is this separate kind of big feeling thing that is less identifiable as like the bass instrument in the music. Maybe I'm just basing that on hearing poorly integrated subwoofers, but I mean, I'd seen the measurements of the setup I'm thinking of, and the sub bass was like linear.
Yeah, I gotta say I kind of disagree. I much prefer bass from subwoofers and speakers and that feeling of tactility because I'm a simple head.
No, I don't think it's a simple head thing. I mean, I think most people would agree with you. I think it's more that what I enjoy about headphones is their linearity. And I feel like whenever I listen to speakers, there's this aspect of it being
there's a woolliness to an indistinct and imprecision. I get what you mean.
Yeah, there's a directness to headphones that speakers lacks basically across the board.
Yeah. Okay. It's an interesting topic. I apologize for not understanding what you meant by that, pandemonium. I get it now, I think. All right. It is possible to add, from Rob, it is impossible to add a new knob to a DAC. That would be a real game changer.
Yeah, just add a game changer knob. Easy.
All right. Your HRTF controls your personality. A warm HRTF gives you a warm personality. A balanced HRTF gives you a balanced personality. A harsh HRTF gives you a harsh personality. There is no free will, only HRTF. I like this take. This is correct.
I love that. So my first thought with this was like audiophile astrology, which is funny. I don't know if it's true. The more I think about it, the more it actually might be true.
This is something that Dr. Olive probably has sufficient data on.
I mean, he never would have gathered data about people's personalities.
No, what's the paper that he has on if you are a basehead, you're more likely to have like aggressive sociopathic tendencies?
I don't think that's one of his papers.
Oh no, but he referenced it.
He cites it all the time because he loves it. But I don't think it's not
one of his. Yeah. But I'm sure. But he has the HRTFs, and he also has data on listener preference for bass level. So if that's true, you could combine the two. You could come up with it.
The pedantic creature says headphone systems that require you to use a specific source, like the Warwick stuff, should come with integrated headphone containers or stands too. I don't think that's very spicy, honestly, bud. Seems like a fine
Uh,
take.
yeah, let's go. More peppers, guys. It's we got another 10 minutes to go here.
Yeah, we don't have much spice going on here, guys. This is a problem.
Yeah, we depend on you. You guys are the producers of this show.
Well, while we're in a lull here, I'm just going to say again for anyone who wasn't here earlier in the show, this is going to be the last Noise Floor podcast that is happening on this channel. We are moving to another channel called the Noise Floor, which you can find a link to in the description below. So if you want to see more live streams like this, definitely subscribe to that channel, hit the notification bell. I do find this is a program that people often want to be notified is happening. So even if you're the kind of person who doesn't usually hit the notification bell for other content, if you want to be notified about this, make sure to hit the notification bell on the new channel, The Noise Floor. Okay, hold on. This is out of order. I'm going to address Arthur Haywood's first. Listener is speaking like a person who doesn't listen to a lot of live music. So fun fact, Arthur, I played in bands for years. I hate live music.
Yeah.
Hate it.
It's pretty bad.
Anytime I can avoid seeing it, unless it's like, my partner really wants to see it or something, like I do not want to see it. It always sounds bad. It's always like way too loud, like physically painful loud. You always pay too much to be there. The people are often not the nicest. And in general, it's
just a lesser experience of the music.
Support a band financially.
Yeah.
But in general, I never feel like I'm getting my money's worth.
But that's a band. There is a difference between seeing a band and seeing like sitting in a room with somebody playing a guitar.
That's dope. So yeah. I love like classical music, like unamplified classical music. Love it. Like string quartets, love it.
Dude,
but that's very different and doesn't have the bass issue.
I'm super pumped. At the end of this month, I'm gonna go see Esperanza Spalding. I'm very excited.
I am very jealous. Although I will be real, if she were coming to me and we're playing an amplified show, I probably would not go to see her.
Yeah, I have no idea. It probably will be an amplified show.
It will be. She has a huge audience.
She's
big.
But I don't care. I'm very excited for that.
No, I'm sure it'll be great. And she's so skilled. I would just like to watch her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll just watch her play with my earplugs in.
I'm gonna be bringing my earplugs. I have these earplugs.
Oh yeah,
the SPL reduction earplugs. Yeah.
So I skipped over this one, but now I do want to come back to it. There are two sides to FR, either smooth or contrasty, but both can be considered as coherent.
Ooh.
So I think they're using kind of like the Mark Ryan definition of contrasty, which is to mean like contrast in SPL between regions of the frequency response versus smooth, meaning low contrast.
The Mark Ryan manifesto.
Yeah, no, I think this is a good take. I think it's kind of underrated that people think low contrast is the only way to be coherent, or vice versa, that people think the only way to like for something to be incoherent, it has to be high contrast. But I think there are ways for high contrast tunings to be coherent.
Yeah, and I think part of that makes the rounds because of the way that FR looks, because definitely. It will typically be, it'll look worse if it is more of this sort of high contrasty kind of stuff.
I could see how this would be a potentially spicy take, but I do legitimately agree. I think it's a good take.
All right, Timothy Jolly says HE1000 Unveiled is better than HE1.
They're both mid.
They're very different. I would say I would take an HE1 over. Yeah. HE1000 Unveiled is very different from an HE1.
Yeah, I guess it's low treble focused then.
And also the bass is very different. HE1 has a bass.
It's like a small rise at the lowest frequencies. It's not a huge boost or anything.
Look at you indexing for wideband. All right. Audio is fun, but socializing is more important. My friends and brother want me to go play BF6 beta. I'll see y'all later. See, I tried that yesterday, hoping that it would be great, expecting that it would be great, and found it to be kind of mid. Like, there's potential, but Oh, I'm talking about BF6 beta, not socializing.
No, I'm laughing at something completely
Okay.
unrelated to what you're saying.
Okay.
Funella said listeners should wear a bald cap and Resolve should wear a wig, and we can test if their listening preferences get switched.
This is good content. This is a good idea. Yeah, no, I was kind of hoping the BF6 beta would be better. It was very arcadey, is what it felt like. It didn't feel like it had that much strategic depth. It was just like run in, die, run in, kill things, die, run in. It's just everyone's running around like a fucking prick. Like it's was not.
As a non-first person shooter guy, it just sounds like a first person shooter to me.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the older titles had more strategic depth, but it's still beta, so it's like who knows.
Okay. Awab says Meze headphones look like Batman gear. I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Especially the MPs.
Yeah. Yeah. Mood related transfer function, MRTF. Yes, I made it up. Is more significant than head related transfer function. Disagree. Because moods aren't real.
That was so stupid. I mean, there are things that bother me about a headphone regardless of my mood.
I can be in a really terrible mood, and that doesn't, like, it can affect the way that I feel about a headphone, but not more than if there's something super weird going on with the frequency response relative to my HRTF.
Kunal asks, thank you again for the super chat. You can save that money for headphones, bud.
There you go.
But he says, I have HD600. How much better can audio get?
Negative.
No, significantly better, but it's not. It doesn't get better from spending more money. It gets
yes. Oh, completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, figuring out EQ and seeing what makes you tick is how you would get.
But like we cannot discount psychoacoustic effects, and they're like, it sounds like people will hate that. They hate that kind of phrasing, right? But it's very true. You like things like, well, the things that Axel Grell is looking into, all the other non-frequency response related things that are influential in the perception do affect how people feel when they are wearing headphones and listening to music. And it is important to not discount that. So yeah, I mean, if you feel, it's almost like saying that ruins the potential of that experience for people. But these are the reasons to try things like HD 800s or, like the Aria Unveiled or whatever, right? Like to see if that's a thing that actually, works for you. Just a couple more.
Yeah, Audio with Arga says accurate acoustic impedance is a myth to sell 5128. 32 Danish people is too low of a number. JK needed to say some spicy stuff. I mean,
it's not a reasonable thing. Like
fair.
I don't think anybody would be saying it is accurate acoustic impedance. It is just more accurate. Yeah, we're not, for the same reason that, like, it's not necessarily the perfect representation of an average human, but it is more human-like in terms of its acoustic impedance than other measurement rigs have been in the past.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think this is simultaneously an oversold and undersold benefit. Like,
we talked about this last time
because we talk about it way too much in our content. Like,
but you know why?
People need to know about it, but at the same time, a lot of people do need to know about it.
They do, and that's the problem. Like, acoustic impedance generally is a thing that is never considered when people are reading graphs, right? And it's so important. And this is in my mind it's the missing link. It's the gap between the measured and the heard, right? It's the core missing link, right? The other missing link would be the analysis is limited, but those two things in combination really do. That's why I'm able to get to the place of FR at the eardrum is the thing that matters. There is no extra unmeasurable thing.
Acoustic impedance is important because if you say derive a linear transfer function between the 5128 and the 711 coupler based on a bunch of IEMs, and then you encounter an IEM that does not fit within the schema outlined with all of those others and deviates in a completely different way, you kind of have to just use the 5128 because all of the other measurements on 711 couplers are going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So Oh, go ahead.
I have to say as well, the other reason why we are 5128
Pilled.
propagandists is because of some of the absolutely weird and unfounded narrative stuff coming the other way to do with these systems, where people don't understand what is actually going on with them. Like there's a lot of noise being made about, the Gross stuff is better, et cetera, from sources that have not actually understood any of this. And part of me believes the reason why is because the clone couplers are clones of Gross, and so they are more readily available, and that's why people are wanting to preserve the value in those, because that's what they have. And I totally get that. I'm not gonna, and I think we should try and get as much value out of them as we can. But it is straight up false to say that that these are better systems, particularly because of the acoustic impedance differences.
Yeah, I mean that's the main thing.
That's the main thing. Yeah, like there's an argument that the Pinna is better on the Gross.
Sure.
I have no problem with that.
I believe that.
Yeah,
that's my take.
Yeah,
but yeah. When it comes to IEMs and high impedance sources close to the ear, it is like increasingly obvious how bad the 711 coupler is and how much better the 5128 is. So we don't have to keep talking about this, but yeah. BA drivers are bad inherently and all have weird timbre and edgy and glary no matter how smooth the FR is. Replace BA drivers with IEMs and you're correct.
Yeah.
No, but like actually, and I feel like this was my problem with IEMs regardless of driver type for the longest time. And yes, a lot of IEMs have BA drivers, so a lot of them had BA timbre, but we've seen plenty of cases where terrible sounding IEMs don't have a BA anywhere. And they still have BA timbre, like what was it? The
BA was
Rex Pro,
where the BA was disconnected or whatever.
Yeah.
And it still had BA timbre. No, but see, all you need to do,
it still had a terrible peak in the frequency.
No. See, all you need to do is add a BA driver into it, leave it disconnected, and then it has BA timbre. It's the material of the BA is what is giving you.
There is still plenty of single dynamic driver headphones that like have BA timbre. Like a lot of the KZs are just single dynamic drivers, but because they're so low damped, they just have a bunch of treble peaks and sound crunchy as hell, and they're grit fests.
So it's like it's one of those things where
original Sound Note Zero also had kind of BA timbre.
Yeah, so it was a thing of where like IEMs that had lots of BAs were ended up having various different peaks in all kinds of spots, and then that got attributed to, or that got wrapped up as BA timbre, and then people would describe all this stuff that way. And then
would you believe that people had a term that was not frequency response related for describing what was ultimately a frequency response relationship?
Yeah, shocking. I know
this may be shocking,
but it could have been anything. The thing is, though, there are also other things to do with BAs. Like my issue with is like how do we know that people who are identifying this are identifying it consistently?
They're not. We actually know they're not.
Yeah, like maybe somebody's identifying high order or auto order harmonic distortion.
High doubt. You
can doubt, but I'm just saying maybe, like, let's just say maybe one person is identifying that, another person is identifying all kinds of peaks and stuff like that are going on. Right? Like I'm in agreement. It's probably more likely the latter, but like, who is to say? Like, I mean, a planar can have BA timbre.
BAs are like technically more prone to resonate and have like secondary resonances that do show up in the frequency response and may vary more between individuals. But
it's what it is. I've described it as kind of like a metallic screeching, but like that is so easily like connected to frequency response.
FR thing, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you can connect metallic screeching very easily to frequency response, right? If you properly get FR at the eardrum, especially.
Roy says piezo and microplanar still can't replace ESTs. They can, and I hope they do.
All right, let's do rapid fire here.
Okay, frequency response should be analyzed through the lens of harmonic series. I mean, what about harmonic series is like what?
What about the time? What about true?
No, but like the harmonic series is only like it's a characteristic of instruments, not of mixes. right? So like you can do that. Like you should analyze if a peak
Well,
in the mids
I
is making an overtone screech
yeah,
for some reason or
I
something like
I
that.
think that that's fine to do in addition, right? Like if you, because you're
I think
actually
it has to be
giving.
low enough in frequency for the harmonics to actually be clearly separable for each from each other. Because once you get like above 400 hertz, you can't
It's a lot
really
of, yeah, I
do
know.
that. Things are very densely packed, denser than the queue of variations we'll typically see in frequency response.
Yeah. Okay, using a BT header. Oh, sorry, hold on, where my brain is. Using a BT headset for a recording should be considered aggravated assault.
I disagree.
Bad take. Bad take.
I disagree. Yeah. I actually think in a lot of situations, a headset mic that's like so
Sorry,
close to
sorry.
your
Not
mouth,
a
but
bad take.
off
Spicy
axis.
take. I thank you for your
Spicy.
contribution.
Don't worry, they'll be back. You don't got to call them.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no, I disagree. I actually think the headset microphone kind of scheme of like having a very small capsule very close but off axis from the direct plosive direction is actually like a really great way to use a microphone, as long as the mic element is high enough quality
Well,
and
but
the signal to noise ratio of the chain is good enough. I think that's a fantastic way to record.
there's also examples where the mic is also good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think there's
There's a
like an M50X headset that has like an AT2020 capsule in it now.
PC38X is, its mic is
Also
pretty
a
good.
decent mic, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, ironically, a lot of the smallest mic elements are actually the most linear. Because when you have a diaphragm that small, the resonance frequency gets
Mm.
pushed up out of the audible like frequency band. That's why MEMS are used a lot for mics.
Right.
So yeah.
$50,000
measuring
measurement.
ring should measure ergonomics. I love this take.
It kind of does.
I mean, not really. Not really. It doesn't give
It doesn't.
you any useful data.
It gives you,
output.
yeah. It doesn't measure it, but it does. It does, because it's a mannequin head, give you contours for a human head, kind of.
Yeah.
All right, HD800S are extremely uncomfortable. Their cups are too large, so they shallow the side of my head in a very strange way, and they don't clamp hard enough. So every time I move, they fall off.
So I actually think this is
Have you met the
maybe a
Cosmo?
spicy take, kind of, but like I hear these complaints a lot.
Yeah. If you have a smaller head, that's bound to happen, I think, right?
Yeah, that's why I like the strap on it. It does increase the clamp,
Yeah.
and it also fits the top of my head better. But
yeah, you heard it here first. Griffin likes strap on.
why are you like this?
Yeah, it's either that or philosophy. Yeah. All right.
I'll take the dirty jokes. Jesus
Okay.
Christ, I'll take the dirty jokes.
Okay. Or it says we need IEMs with recess 2 kilohertz.
Comma.
Wait, don't they do?
No. God, they all have 2 kilohertz peaks.
No, I was gonna say, isn't it closer to like 1.5? I guess this is splitting hairs. I get what you mean.
Yeah, they have that is what he's talking about. That they
Yeah.
all peak there instead of dipping like headphones sometimes do.
Maybe IEMs will one day have soundstage.
I want to add a corollary to this. They need to do this, but only if they don't also have bass boosts.
Interesting. Oh yes, I actually agree with this. And another thing that they could do is, if they want to balance that with 6 kilohertz or 5 to 6 kilohertz, and that actually kind of makes sense, because that's where, well, for me at least, I'd get a length mode resonance. So infinite soundstage as soon as they start adding dips to 2 kilohertz.
As long as there's no bass. I agree.
Yeah.
Tube amps are necessary for certain types of music. I have not found this to be the case.
All right, last one. Meta tuning scooping out the 1 to 3 kilohertz is a mistake and will eventually come back. Wait, is that a characterization of the meta tuning? Is that actually what they're doing? Scooping
relative
out the
to older IEMs, they are relaxing that 1 to 3 kilohertz region, so it has
compared to like
HRTF shape to it.
Compared to like IEF.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's it's a bad take, but it's not bad because he's wrong that a lot of meta IEMs are not good.
I see the yeah.
Right? Like I don't think he's wrong. I think it's more so that
every
it's not a mistake
implementation
of this has kind of just been flawed because they've done that, but kept the bass of everything else and the treble of everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I also think, to the spirit of this take, the kind of cultural or social inertia behind anything with 1 to 2 kilohertz boosts being bad is a bad thing. Like, I think, unfortunately, there's been a little bit of, maybe not an overcorrection, but a little bit too much enthusiasm behind the idea of, all IMs with this character being bad. And I think most of them kind of are weird sounding. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of ways for a contrasty tuning to be coherent, as I forget who said it, said.
The previous commenter. The person quoting the Mark Ryan manifesto.
Yes. So I think, unfortunately, what needs to be done is things need to be approached with nuance. And that's
contrasts of the world unite.
Yeah. But I think like the Zero Red is a good example of something where it's like it has contrast, but it's well enough considered that it typically, I think, will sound balanced to most people. But that same kind of balance is not going to be what you hear in a well done meta-tuned set.
My brain is doing stupid things. It's probably time to add power to the trebletariat.
Okay, look, I'm glad the treblet is at least being identified as the put upon working class here. We are absolutely the exploited among us.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and end the stream. Okay, so before we leave, I just want to remind everyone, in case we got late joiners, this is the last Noise Floor we're going to be doing on this channel. Going forward, all Noise Floor podcasts will be on our new channel, the Noise Floor, which is going to be in the description below. If for some reason it's not linked below, feel free to hit me up on Discord or wherever, but I will add it. I will make sure it's there for those watching after the fact. Anyway, I think that's it. This program has been brought to you, as all programs on this channel are, by headphones.com. Here's your premier resource for buying and learning about headphones, IEMs, DACs, amps, speakers, cables, all that stuff. So if you like what we do here, you like what we're going to be doing on the Noise Floor, you like our other content, and you want to support us, the best way to do that is by buying headphones at headphones.com. So definitely consider doing that next time you're thinking about buying a headphone. And other than that, I think that's about it, right?
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.